Press record. Just a short little thing. It's not live or anything, we don't now have to talk for 3 hours solid or anything like that.
Oh, good.
It'll be chopped up and shit. What should I do for a little intro?
Right. So, what's all this in aid of then? Are you starting your own movement?
Just doing a podcast. I don't know whether, like, I'm seriously thinking of it being a popular thing that people want to listen to, or whether it's just like a local interest thing, like quite a niche thing. Perhaps, I'm not sure in what direction.
Do you have like listeners already then?
No. I'm recording. So I'm recording 10. I've got 6. This will be 7. I'm going to record 10, and I'm going to put 5 out initially, and then I'm going to put out 1 a week after that. So I've got a 5-week buffer, and then try and get one a week or 1 every 2 weeks recorded, so that I've got one to put out each week. That's the aim. Who knows why? Don't know why. It's just a nice way of making content.
On, like YouTube and that, or what?
Yeah, YouTube, and then I'll need to get it syndicated over to iTunes. You have to do a little bit of setup for that, but it's a bit tricky because I want to be doing like music. So with podcasts, you can set up your YouTube to produce an RSS feed, which you then give to iTunes, and they run it as a podcast. But if I'm putting other content on that YouTube channel, then iTunes won't want to publish some of that, because some of that will be like mixes that's got other people's music in it. iTunes aren't going to publish that. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out, and whether I might even just go with YouTube, really.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing is people
can't...
can't...
royalties and that, like, really, just...
You can get some money off YouTube if you've got a lot of plays, a lot of regular viewers and stuff. You can get a good bit of money.
What sort of music do you put out there, like?
I've not actually got anything on this channel yet, but prior I was putting out like original music and some mixes and stuff like that. Varied really though, like some hip hop. I've got a couple of funk mixes to put up. So I'm doing the podcast as Casual Times Podcast, and then I'm going to do some casual mixes as well. So like casual bass or casual hip hop, and it'll be like down tempo, like low key vibe sort of stuff. So it will be casual.
Yeah.
I've also done a little bit of photography recently. I don't know whether to put that out on Casual Times, but it doesn't really work for photography. Casual photography.
What have you been photographing?
Lewis, the Lewis that we were on about before, we went and did photograph some models with him.
He's the guy I used to work with, mate, and
Yeah, Joe's mate. I want to get Joe on as well. He's got a rock and roll lifestyle though. He's a difficult guy to pin down.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he like in bands and shit?
He's like David Hasselhoff, isn't he? Huh?
Big
Joe Eves. He's big everywhere. He's big global. He's big on the moon, I've heard. Big on the moon is Joe Eves. They say on the dark side of the moon.
Just small in stature in real
life. It's just his face. He only looks small. He's not really. He's a tall guy, really.
Is he?
Yeah, it's just the way he holds himself.
It's just always stood at a distance.
One day what'll happen is he'll overthrow his shackles and fears, and then he'll be like, I am tall.
I am tall.
Yeah. I can fly. As Mr. Lightyear once said. These headphones are making a fucking noise. I really want them not to, but I don't actually know. I'll put it under there, and then it probably won't get picked up. Do you reckon?
I don't know what you're doing. This is all
mumbo jumbo.
It is, yeah.
Magic. It's just wires, and it is magic though, isn't it, that we can actually record anything. Like just the idea of recording sound or image, photography or recording audio.
Well, that's come a long way, hasn't it, technology? It's amazing, yeah.
But even just
being back at school, it was all fucking paper files and shit like that. It was.
And the teachers all said, didn't they? They're like, you'll never have a calculator in your pocket. You won't have one every day. Fucking liars, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Everyone's got a phone. But yeah, man, it's come a long way. But just the initial idea, just like the first guy who took a photograph, like, holy shit, he captured some light and put it on a thing and made it look like what the camera lens was looking at. Like, that's really weird, I think. And the same with music. One of the first musical recordings is recorded on a light bulb.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's that work?
I can't remember exactly. It's like a pattern it's like etched onto the light bulb in the same way that like vinyls have a groove etched into them.
Right, yeah.
Like it was etched onto the light bulb, and then you'd have to have a special thing that sort of reads that, turns it into vibration, and sends it out of a speaker. And it was Eau Claire de Lune, a traditional French song. The recording, it sounds creepy as fuck. It's like, it's so crackly and poor quality. Like it is awful, because you think, like in a vinyl, the groove's pretty well preserved, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas on a light bulb,
It bulbs out, yeah.
yeah, it's not. It's going to get scratched easy. It's worse than the CD, I'd say.
I'm looking
see.
forward to getting out there in the summer. I want to go to Ben Nevis this summer, definitely.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Get outdoors.
I mean, I attempted Snowdon at Wekai last year, but we went up the wrong mountain. It was the one next to it. So close.
How far up the mountain did you get?
Always at the top of it.
Nice, nice. So you did climb a mountain.
Yeah, the one
Just
next to
wasn't-
it, yeah. And I was like, well, I will do this mountain. And they were like, from where I was hoping to join onto it, but from where we was, you'd have to climb another mountain, and that was me.
So you'd have to do 3 mountains.
Even I have my limit, mate. It's literally, I was like, nah, good pub. Have you ever done abseiling?
No, I refused to do it when they
Did
tried
you?
to get us to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't trust the fuckers.
I've done it once. It was we walked all the way. Where was we? I think it was like Wales or somewhere. It was in the army. Like we've walked like for miles to get to this face to abseil down. It was like 100 foot or something like that.
Right.
And basically, I didn't want to walk all the way back to, so I was like, yeah, go on then, I'll do it. But my mate went before me, and he was quite a big lad. And as he stepped off the face, he's like slipped, and the harness has gone right up, and basically, like chafed off one of his balls. Man, he was swinging off a cliff face by his balls. Like I said, he was a big lad, and they're like, you're next. So I looked, I was like, oh. I still did it rather walk
Did
all
you?
the way down, yeah. But my mate didn't, he like limped down.
Yeah.
Yeah, crying.
Not surprised. I probably would be too. It's no joke. No joke, the balls. Definitely
Not
worse
dangling
than
100
labour.
foot up back
Oh.
like, yeah.
I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine having your whole weight suspended off them. No good. No good. How would you do like a VR shooter though? How would you do the... Oh yeah, on a pad, we already...
You what?
Yeah,
You get Call of Duty, can't you?
yeah, I'm sure there's got to be at least a couple of them converted for that now or made for that. Because it's on like... It is PlayStation 4 now, so it's released with console. You get it to work with it. Like, there's a couple of standalone ones, but that one's made to work with like a mainstream console, so that's pretty exciting.
That'd be gnarly actually, running around playing Battlefield in VR.
Yeah. Or, it's tricky though, isn't it? They're running like... The problem with VR is you can't really play Tekken unless you're really good at backflips.
PTSD. We played too much Battlefield.
Yeah, because it'll be online, you'll have your mates there. Oh my god, little Jimmy! Little Jimmy's dead!
It's very shivering in the corner at work.
Or maybe because it's not quite real, it'll give you like an exposure to that. And then if you were in that situation really, maybe you'd be less likely to get the PTSD.
Turn us into robots.
Yeah. I don't care.
I don't
Is
care
it real?
anymore.
Who knows? Do you think it's real?
What, VR?
Know everything.
What? I don't know. There's like how our reality is basically is just what we see in it. There's always other realities around it. Everyone's perspective of something is different.
Of course.
So everyone
yeah,
has
yeah.
their own reality.
Yeah.
Two people could witness the same event and yet give totally different stories, but it doesn't necessarily mean either of them is lying.
Yeah, and definitely like perception makes a big difference. Like they must both be lying a bit or something, or like I don't know, like one of them's right or they're both wrong, or are they both
Well, we're just entities
Remembering
floating
it.
around in meat boxes, really, aren't we?
the
Like,
meat box?
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a drawback, the meat box. I think if we can get out of it, like I'm game for being in a robot body. Like the meat bag is a bit, you know.
There's an experiment, wasn't it, online, and they offered people if you could live in bliss, but you plug yourself into like a VR, but like you can never go back and give away all, you know, or you can live in real life and like have to put up with highs and lows and all the rest of it. Which would you prefer? And like pretty much everyone chose the hardship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't want to go and not have the option of coming back.
You can't really have highs without lows, though, can you?
No. Well, no, not after a while.
You have to. Sometimes you have to be hit rock bottom to realise, like. how good things can be.
Yeah, definitely. And to sometimes to put yourself on that path, you have to hit rock bottom. And some of the strongest sort of life paths come out of that. Like you look at a lot of really good musicians. There's that problem. A lot of really good artists.
What, the ones that haven't like hung themselves masturbating?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. They do die off pretty regular for those various reasons. But like there's no like I can't think of any really good artists that don't have some kind of maybe suffering in their past. It doesn't necessarily mean they are at the moment. Usually, if it carries on too long, then they go Kurt Cobain or whatever, But there's something about seeing the worst things in life that does definitely make you appreciate the better things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you can get there without that as well. Maybe.
I'm gonna grab a beer. Is there a
Oh
beer?
right, yeah. They should. I think so. Yeah. Sometimes I find this when I eat it more than when I smoke it. But sometimes there's a bump in there. But you probably don't get that because your tolerance is probably pretty high.
I can go without it sometimes. Yeah. But then I like to because like every now and again I go a few days and stuff without it because then it's just nice when you smoke it again.
yeah, and it gives you a little visit back to reality and a little touch base. You go, all right,
perspective.
Yeah. They say you've not really travelled anywhere until you've come home.
Well, that's saying.
Yeah, man, it's pretty good. I think it's true with drugs. You have to check in every now and then with baseline reality.
Yeah.
I think I can't just blaze all day.
It always makes me laugh that they say like it's psychosis or something like from too much cannabis use, but you don't find like in Holland there's any more nut houses, do you?
No. And even though use goes up in the UK, you don't see an increase in schizophrenia. Even though use has gone, even though it's become legal in some parts of America, mental health problems haven't gone up. Like schizophrenia has not gone up. I mean, you can freak out, of course, People can freak out. It can trigger things.
There's a lot about, like, government, like, fucking coining things, in it, like gateway drugs and fucking shit like that. I mean, you could say coffee's a fucking gateway drug.
Alcohol's definitely... Yeah, coffee and alcohol are definitely... Yeah. They're the first things that you experience that let you know you can feel different to sober. Really, aren't they? Coffee and alcohol. So yeah, they're definitely the gateway drugs.
Well, it's like other government terminologies, hate crimes as well. I mean, what crime's truly not a hate crime? If you go and smack someone, you've not done it because you like the guy.
Yeah, if it's a violent crime.
No matter what the skin colour or the rest of it, it's like,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is an odd one, I suppose. But, it does happen and there is. But it is still crime, innit? It's all crime. I think the only thing that's really crime is violent crime.
Yeah.
And maybe some kinds of theft and fraud. Fraud, probably. Dishonesty. I don't necessarily think that's a jail thing, though. If it's a financial dishonesty, you can have reparations. Do you say you had truffles in Amsterdam?
Never been a big fan of truffles, mate.
No?
I have had them.
You had them a few times?
They're a bit light and floaty. I like the proper Mexican, mate. Mexican mushrooms, the Hawaiian ones, the McKenna ones.
Yeah. Is it Cubensis, the Mexican ones, or are they Hawaiian? What are Cubensis?
I'm not too sure, mate. I just see them as Mexican, and it's what you get the kits with.
I had Mexican ones back when they sold them in the head shops, and they were dope. Like they were really nice.
Yeah,
really nice
stuff. I remember like we had a proper smallest bathroom. It wasn't even a bathroom. It was a shower with a toilet next to it and about 3 foot of space in between. It was like in a cupboard, mate. Going in there on mushrooms. It was like the walls were breathing.
I always get a nautical feel in bathrooms when I'm on psychedelics.
A nautical feel?
Yeah, I feel like I'm at sea. Yeah.
Or in a submarine, or...
Yeah, I often get like a nautical thing going on. And sometimes I think that I'm on my own ship when I'm on mushrooms. I think I'm on my own ship. Don't know, it's pretty weird, isn't it? Not like I'm the captain of my ship or anything that cheesy. Just like
I like to get out into nature sometime and take mushrooms. You know, like camp out in the lakes or something like that. That'd be, or in woods. That's where I think I've always gone wrong with them. That's what. Yeah.
What normal settings have you?
Just usually in the house or.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I enjoy a house trip, for sure. Yeah. But it is nice to be out
I've gone to the Galleon on them as well.
What sort of dose?
I've eaten a few, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I just used to eat them, mate. I
Yeah.
didn't really dose them out or anything. just
snack.
Like fucking Super Mario or some shit, mate.
Danger, Will Robinson, isn't it? Gotta be careful, because what if you get
having a
liberty caps? Time to grow to twice your size or become invincible or something.
It's not flashing.
Fireballs! Shit, so the Galleon on mushrooms, go on then, what's that about? What's that like?
What's that about?
Yeah.
It's interesting, mate, yeah.
How was it?
Yeah, it was like, you got the cool posters and shit around there.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad at all, yeah.
Did you get... I find when I'm around a lot of people on mushrooms, like in a club where a lot of people, where not everyone's had mushrooms, there's less visual stuff going on. Did you find that?
No, it's still getting fixed on the posters and shit, mate, to be honest with you. There's a lot of posters in there, isn't there?
I've not been in the Galleon in ages, you know.
Well, eat a load of mushrooms and go to the Galleon. It was alright.
Yeah? Was there a band on?
There's just always someone gets up and sings in there, isn't there? It's,
Oh, right, yeah. Have they got the piano in there?
they might have a piano.
Little
in there,
honky
mate.
tonk guy, I'm sure I've said it there. I know what you mean, the Galleon.
You see, Adam get up and do, like,
Oh, yeah. Nice. I remember going to Jenks for Halloween on mushrooms and thinking it was a good idea. And then I thought it was going to be a really bad idea after I'd eaten them. Like, between eating them and coming up, I thought it was going to be a really bad idea. And then it was a really good idea. But then we also gave Liggett some mushrooms and he ended up headbutting somebody. Getting into some argy-bargy. But it was a pretty good night. Like, I thought it was going to... For a while there, I thought, oh, what have I done? It's Halloween. I'm going to have a bad trip. I'm going to freak out, aren't I? But it was fine. It's alright.
Yeah. I've learned not to go out on MD and acid. That's, like, not a good mix.
Have you got that right? Because people say you can get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, no. I thought I was walking up some stairs now. I climbed up onto the DJ box and fucking walked into the wall next to it because I thought there was a staircase there. Fucking bust my nose.
Oh, man. Just didn't even know what you were doing, as if you were walking through a door.
Yeah.
Bosh.
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it? That's the fastest you can go, almost. You know, when you think something's not there and it is. Like, you know, when you stub your toe. Like, the force of you thinking there's nothing in the way of the thing you're moving is the greatest force. It's, like, more powerful than punching, I think. Like, just not, like, pretending the thing's
Going
not
about
there.
your day.
Yeah, like when you hit your head on something because you're not expecting, and you just go at normal walking speed.
You're taller than this. You'll hit your head a lot, mate. Fucking, yeah. The worst is when you misjudge it and you pull your head up halfway between and you end up cracking your head on the doorway.
That is pretty bad.
It's like getting fucking punch from the gods or something, isn't it?
That is bad. I think my least favourite is the one where you're like, I should have remembered about that one.
Yeah.
Done that before. Fuck. In my granny's flat, there was fucking lintels that were like, I think it was from like it was built in 15 something, and the lintels were just oak that were put there in 15 something, and they were just like iron, like just dense, and they were so low. They were just so low, I'd always hit my head on them. Every time, and just like, I should know better by now. Because that was like just getting like an anvil or something, you know, like walking into an anvil. It's pretty intense. Too much, some might say.
Yeah, my stepdad in my mum's front room, he put like a doorway in, but he's a fucking midget. So he could walk through it.
So he put it in just for himself?
Pretty much, yeah. Jack one here, yeah. I spent years to have made off that.
That sounds pretty awful, mate. Pretty awful. We're back to the psychedelics.
Yeah.
So you've gone to the Galleon, you've had house trips. So the truffles in Amsterdam, what, they did nothing for you?
Just a really light. Yeah.
Did you try eating a lot?
In the end, I think I like another couple of boxes of mushrooms just to follow them up. It was heavy.
Jesus.
Yeah, mate, that was quite a crazy night. Learned to skin up that night.
Right? That's quite late in the game to be learning to skin up,
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
After you smashing truffles and mushrooms in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
What did you do before that?
Buckets and bongs, and then I joined the army, didn't I? So like, yeah.
Right.
But then I got out of the army, and the year I got there, I went to Amsterdam about 4 times, I think, in the space of a year.
Right.
My girlfriend that was with at the time used to like skin up all the time for us. She's passed out in the bed on mushrooms. I've got a fucking head full of mushrooms. I'm like looking in the mirror, like thinking I'm turning purple, and then I've got all these different kinds of weeds scattered all around the room, and I'm like, I've got no one to skin up. Yeah, so that was like my mission that night.
And you just self-taught that night?
I had to, yeah.
Nice. You had to pull yourself up by your own bootlaces.
I think it took me forever. Also, there was like Team America on the telly, so I kept like zoning in and out on that. Every now and again I go, oh, Team America. And then like, yeah, was doing that all night. It's funny how you know no concept of time, do you, when you're on psychedelics?
No, it does kind of go out the window. Sometimes it seems faster, sometimes slower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. I remember peaking just over there, sunny as fuck day. Sun was really low over there behind the polytunnel. And you know when you just, it's almost like the peak with MD. There's kind of everything goes just to white almost. Like the sun was just this, there was just light everywhere, and I just like was melted and not really anything. I was just like, just melted into the ground, just writhing about a little bit, gently, just a little stretching, lying in the ground, feeling the ground, and the sun just beating down, like really low sunset, and everything just being sunlight, like, and time just going, like that could have been an hour or a day, or it was probably about 20 minutes. Maybe it was about 5 minutes. I don't know. But just that loss of time.
I took some acid once at a download festival. And the campsite was quite far away from the arena.
Mm.
And I think it's just like kicked in halfway down the walk. We lay back just looking up at the clouds, just amazed by this clouds, hearing all this like fucking awesome music going in the background. It took ages for me to realise, I'm like, look, we're maybe a fucking like a fucking festival here. We were just laying at Petrogras looking at the clouds.
Who'd you go and see first then after that?
I've seen that many groups at download, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the times with the old acid, or?
It's pills. I used to like to take.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame. It'd be good if there was pharmaceutical, legal, regulated. I think. I can't trust white powder these days. Can't trust it at all.
Yeah.
I don't think could be anything, any kind of legal high. They cost £5 and they're white powder, and you can say, here's some white powder, and it's going to have an effect on the person, but we just don't know what kind of long term.
What is it that mix it with? It's like benzocaine, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Shit, a benzocaine.
Is it benzocaine?
Don't know.
It's like a numbing thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking can't trust powders, man.
No,
I reckon.
It's fucking crazy. The debts people are up with that shit as well.
Yeah. It's such a pricey. Well, it can be such a pricey habit. And the powders that aren't expensive are pretty bad. No, mind you, all the powders are pretty bad. Really, I think quite addictive.
I've got a mate in Bradford, and his brother sells it, and like fucking, he's an absolute fucking beast. But there's people at home like grands and stuff like that.
Yeah. Serious. Can't be doing drug debt. That's an easy way to get into some horrific shit, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you get out of it all right, a little bit but you're playing dice, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think there's certain roles that I'm happy making and certain roles that I'm not, really.
I think the thing is with the cocaine as well, it doesn't really do a lot, does it? It's just like instant gratification, but apart from that, there's not really what else.
You have to have loads, like molecule-wise.
Yeah.
A lot. The worst is alcohol, though. The amount of molecules of alcohol you need to get to have like a strong effect.
It's just like, if you like a couple of
Litres.
beers though, is
Yeah.
beneficial, isn't it? Isn't it?
Um,
I'm sure it's got like iron and shit in it. Somewhere.
I mean, yeah, it's fermented. Well, it's fermented grain.
Don't tell me beer's bad.
There's probably better grains better things to ferment to make an alcoholic beverage. Cider's probably better.
You reckon?
Yeah, because I don't think grain. Well, I suppose it depends what it's fermented with, doesn't it? Really. Or what is it? Grain. It's a few types of grain, isn't it? Hops.
I'll tell you what I've never tried. Mead. I might have given that a bit.
Oh, mead's nice.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, you couldn't drink a lot of it.
No.
You couldn't get drunk on it.
Wow.
Well,
What's it like?
it's like very honeyish.
Yeah. Was it like a wine or?
It's like a thick liqueur.
Right.
Like not like a Bailey's thick, not like a milky thick, like a syrupy. It's really
Yeah.
syrupy. Yeah, the flavour's really nice. It tastes a bit like if syrup was cheese, sort of like a little like musty syrup. But you can get loads of there's a really nice company that were at Blackpool Market. I forget their name, but they had like loads of different types, and they've got them in nice bottles. I'll show you in a minute.
Yeah.
It's like a bell bottom sort of thing, and then like a long spout, like really nice, like about probably a small whiskey bottle's worth, I'd say. Nice touch. Corked, Welsh Dragon Company or something. They've got nice labels and shit, and they've got loads of different flavours. They've got like some with chili in, stuff like that.
Chili.
Yeah, it's nice, man. It's nice. No. You're not into a spicy drink?
I'm not into a spicy drink, mate. Not at all. It's fucking. I went to Revolution's vodka bar with like an adventure training in Lancaster, and that was the third thing on the shooters menu was chili vodka. I did the chocolate vodka, the bubblegum vodka, and then they got to the chili vodka, mate, and that was it. It was like a trail of spew into the toilet. It was. The way we got inside, it looked like someone performed an exorcism, mate. I just got projectile all over.
Was it like in a
There was
row?
like a fucking whole chicken in the fucking urinal. It's like it must have reassembled itself on its way out or something like that. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah,
Shit.
it was bad, man.
Did you have them just like one after the other?
Yeah.
Bosh, bosh, bosh.
I think we were drinking QC cream sherry as well before that, which didn't help things.
My God. Yeah, you can't leave that out. 3 shots of weird chemical vodka and some sherry.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of sherry, because it takes a bit of sherry to get drunk. Doesn't it?
Yeah. You should get £3 a bottle or something like that
Yeah.
for a bottle of QC cream. But
I remember drinking a dry martini for a while. I went through a phase of that because it was really cheap.
Buckfast. Have you drunk
Buckfast. No, I can't. No, I'm not
Have you
about
ever
that
drank
flavour.
it?
Yeah.
It's like drinking cough syrup, isn't it? It's fucking
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something else. Cough syrup, is it?
yeah.
I like cough syrup.
It's horrible though.
Is it not like orangey?
No.
What am I thinking of?
Probably Mad Dog 2020 or something.
Oh God, that is a similar flavour to that other drink we were talking. To me, no, similar texture, kind of. To
Right.
me, but less fuely.
Right.
You know, Mad Dog's quite fuely, I think.
They still make that?
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah. I've seen it. Maybe not even a year since. I reckon I've seen it.
I remember as a kid when you used to like, well, when you was a teenager and you was like trying to get Mad Dog 2020. Why do they only ever have the fucking Kiwi one left? It was like the worst one, and that's the one the shops
Oh,
always
mate.
seem to stock.
I used
loads of.
to buy the Kiwi, no doubt.
Not deliberately.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because you kept buying it. They kept stocking it.
Because of motherfuckers like me. Ah, shit, man. It was bad. It's bad, that stuff. What is that? That is just sugar
Wine,
wine.
cordial.
Get me some of that sugar wine, boy. Imagine that. Sugar wine. Who would have thought it? Banana wine. That's what I want to see. Banana everything. I
Banana
like.
beer is nice.
Is it?
You never had banana beer?
Oh, maybe
You get it
make
from
like an ale.
Tesco's. Yeah, banana ale. Yeah.
Ah, I think yeah.
You got to be cold in that. It's lovely though. Yeah.
Banana flavour is the best, I think. When I go to Lancaster, there's a coffee shop called Esquires, who I believe use the local beans, and they have different syrups they'll put in your thing, and they have banana flavour, and it's amazing.
I've never done
Banana coffee.
coffee.
Banafi.
Yeah.
It's confusing. You see? Bacoffee, kaboffee. It's nice, man. But it's a bit weird, like the syrup sits a bit weird in the drink for some reason, I don't know. Maybe I need to stir it more. But yeah, chuck some bits of banana in there as well, I reckon. Like a proper banoffee pie thing, like with the bits of banana, bit of caramel. Coffee, bacoffee, kaboffee. Got a weather warning in place, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, yellow weather warning for Lancashire. Don't know what it means exactly.
Yellow.
Yes, reasonably strong gusts. Possible damage to sheds, maybe? Do you reckon?
So what's a red then? Is that like?
A red's bad. Red's
Yeah.
bad, yeah. That's all we need to know. Same for anything, you know. Terror level. Anything. If it's red, bad. The worst.
So what's the best terror level then? What's white?
None.
No, that's never going to happen,
No
though,
terror.
is it? Let's face it.
Not while we're fucking trying to do Brexit. There's plenty of terror going on, isn't there? It's bad. Loads of terror. Loads of terror.
So you support Corbyn then, do you? Like,
I do, yeah.
you want like open borders and that? You think that's a good idea, or?
I think we should have checks at borders. I think we should look for violent behaviour at borders. I think we should have a reasonably open immigration policy. Allow people to
What, not
say
like
they
have
want to come
a point
here.
system for say like Australia or something like that.
Some of those ideas are worth looking at, I think.
Yeah.
Some of those ideas, the point system, Australia, you have to have a certain amount of money.
But do you truly believe that our politics should be tied in with like an unelected like body such as Brussels? Because it seems very like undemocratic to me.
Yeah, no, I understand that point, and it is to a degree. What I like the idea of is a bunch of countries. I'm not saying this is necessarily what the EU is right now, but a bunch of countries all working together as. So we have MPs that we send to Parliament, having someone representing England in Europe and someone from Spain and someone from everywhere in Europe representing their part of Europe and agreeing on wider things. I think I like that idea. I don't think politicians should make all the decisions they currently do, but I like that idea. But there is a lot of corruption.
Do you think like local areas should be able to make their own policies
Yes.
and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of people have signed up for like what policies and stuff that have gone through, or they've just like blatantly refused to do it, like Greece and stuff like that. Just sort of snubs, don't they? Like fucking.
Yeah.
Even like because you can still go to Greece now and smoke in restaurants and stuff like that, and in bars and that. You know what I mean? It's one of the things about being British, where the government always feels like it has to set some sort of fucking crazy fucking example, doesn't it? And
Yeah. I don't trust our government.
They jump on fucking everything, don't they?
Yeah.
It's fucking annoying sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, there's loads of things that are bad about the way our country's run. That's not to do with EU, oversight or anything like that. Like the Tories, I'm more worried about the Tories really or about the way politics is than I am about the EU. But the way politics is all in the EU as well,
Well,
so,
it was, wasn't it? David Cameron, wasn't it? He pushed through that referendum and then dropped the mic. And there is blame everything on Theresa May, which I haven't really paid too much attention to, because he's just not as bad as Gordon Brown, let's face it. But he fucked this country up, didn't he, in his little fucking stint? What the fuck was that about?
Yeah. I mean, both parties have been so awful since. I don't really know when. In my lifetime, the only people that I've known as prime ministers are cunts. And it's just refreshing for me to see someone who seems a bit more human.
Would it not be good though? Like, it's not going to happen, but in this technological age we live in, if it was the people that had the power to bad to say, but it's not going to work like that. I mean, even now we have the illusion of democracy, but realistically, you've got the House of Commons and the House of Lords, and the House of Lords are descended from nobility, and they used to govern over as fucking.
Yeah, still fucking do.
I know,
Yeah, it's just the landowner changed. changed thing in it. It's people who are descended from wealth, people who are part of the same fraternal rituals at school. People who are compromised, people who've been caught in embarrassing situations, and there's probably photos of it from these sort of fraternal things and these things that you do to join these clubs where you do something that if everybody knew about it, you would at least be embarrassed, if not horrified, right? So they're all compromised because people have all got dirt on everybody. Theresa May has got dirt on so many people.
Yeah.
She's got dirt on at least 100 people, I think.
They've all been like shagging pigs
in
heads
Parliament.
And stuff.
Yeah. And it's just this really established system. So I think one of my main things with Corbyn is that he's more of a normal person.
You reckon?
I'd vote for a crack whore over anybody apart from, I don't know, Corbyn versus crack whore, it'd be a tough choice. It would be a tough choice, but I would vote in. I would like to get a normal person in there as soon as possible, or someone who's just a bit more experienced of been on the right side of history and stuff, and his history of activism is pretty good. His political history has been pretty sound in the votes that he's made in Parliament.
Recently saying stuff about disbanding the army and cancelling the fucking nuclear weapons and.
No, he did say about disarming, about stopping investing in Trident. He did, which is a real blow for some parts of the country where industry, huge industry, is based on.
What about defence capabilities?
I don't think he's spoken about really decreasing them. I don't know though. That's not something that I've heard about. I think he doesn't
maybe not keeping very good. Cuddled up to terrorists and stuff as well.
Well, yeah.
All of the terrorists.
Well. I don't know, man.
Not just one lot. The IRA and fucking.
Yeah, I mean.
Middle East.
There is a lot of that going around in the media, but there's a lot of misleading stuff going on there. I think, if you look at the Hamas thing, it's that he called them my friends, and that's the only thing that's repeated, and that's not really.
Right.
That's he was using diplomatic language, he was at a negotiating table with people that he didn't agree with, that were enemies. That were on the other side of that negotiating table, and he was
what was his position then?
I'm not sure. I think he was just there because he's never.
I think this was years ago as well, was it?
The IRA. I'm not sure when that one was. Really? I don't know as much about that one because I don't know the history of Ireland very well.
No.
You see, yeah. I'm really reasonably. I know there were troubles, obviously, but I know that it was a religious. It was Protestants and Catholics.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as timeline, stuff like that, I'm reasonably ignorant. Jew.
What, know about Ireland?
Yeah, give me a timeline, because I would really like to know.
I don't know so much about Thailand. There's always been problems there, haven't there? Yeah, because Protestants settled there and tried to colonise it, but it wasn't so succceptional.
Okay, so the Catholics were there.
Yeah, they were there first. Yeah, that's why they tried to.
Was that the local population that was converted?
No, Catholics have been there for a very long time, mate.
But would they have lived there before? Because they would have been.
They're some of the first Christians in this part of the country.
Right.
The Vikings ransacked, didn't they, the Saxons? So this country was mainly pagan for a long time, but that's where the Christian light kept on burning. It's in St Patrick and that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful looking place.
Well, then they were seen as when we were at war with Spain and that they were allies with Spain because they were Catholic as well.
Mm.
So yeah, that's when they started getting the ideas of populating the place with Protestants and.
Right.
Stopping all that, yeah. And that's how far back it goes.
Okay, so in the north and south, you've got these two fundamentally opposed. Is it still grouped like that? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right, okay.
When you go about, for a crazy place to go, mate. You obviously after a night out and stuff like that, sometimes I'd wake up on in a house, and what it is all the different estates whether it's a Protestant area or Catholic area, they're
Right.
all marked out on the curbstones, and what they do is they paint it the colour of the flag, like the Irish flag. So it's like green, white, and orange, or they do it as the Union Jack, red, white, and
Oh,
blue.
right, okay.
But that's how they mark out the different areas.
The territory.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then also you've got memorials like everywhere as well.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah, I've seen
old,
some of
like,
those.
King James and all the rest of it. And one of them, right, that's quite shocked. It was a tower block,
Mm.
and it was like most of the way up the side of this tower block. It was like a tiger in like a soldier's uniform.
Hmm.
But it was just massive. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a,
Yeah, it's a mad time in history, really, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
so one of the big problems with Brexit is this this border issue, isn't it?
yeah.
So, what do you think?
They're not going to stick a border up there, mate. They've been
No, definitely not.
They've been fighting for. Yeah. Could you imagine the problems that would cause? It's not going to happen.
Okay, so, yeah, no, it is. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. There's not going to be. But it seems like that's really stuck there at the moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that was always going to be a bone of contention.
Yeah, yeah. So,
It's like when I lived there. I'm sure it was cheaper in the north than the south. So you used to get people that used to pop across the borders to buy things like cigarettes and alcohol and fuel and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know, they lived on the border towns.
yeah,
But it never works out when you try and segregate a place, is it? When it's you try and split up a populace, is it? It's just
yeah.
not, but the Irish don't bother with that shit either.
No,
No, that's it's crazy out there, mate. They have the marching season. I used to like my job in marching season. I used to drive like a 21-ton bomb-proof tractor.
right, shit.
Yeah. My job was if there's like roadblocks, I'd clear the debris out the way with it,
Right,
so the like baseline could go through. Never actually did it in practice. But
Right, okay.
That was I used to sit around in hangars waiting for that. To
right,
happen, but-
okay. So you're trained up for that.
Yeah.
Right, okay, I see, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing that some people don't. It's long periods of boredom followed by short
Yeah.
periods of very intense.
I did the fire strikes out there as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was driving around in a wooden fire engine.
wooden fire engine.
Yeah,
Mental.
top speed of 28 miles an hour.
Is this like an old thing?
Oh
or is
yeah,
that why?
that's why it's wooden, mate.
Nice.
Don't get wooden cars now.
No, I don't think I've ever even seen a wooden fire truck, you know. Holy shit.
Neither did I till us, isn't it? It's like the irony of this, mate. I won't be
Shit.
smoking it here.
So how long were you down there for?
Northern Ireland,
Mm.
2.5 years.
And you were always sort of near the border.
I was Antrim near Loughney,
Right,
which
okay.
is just outside of Belfast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's got to have been pretty hectic,
Yeah.
all told. Yeah, I mean, so what do you think? Like, because I was wondering, you know, maybe all of Ireland should be like, well, fuck Westminster. Do you know what? We're gonna be independent from England. But do you think there's just no possibility of unison?
The Irish are fiercely territorial, mate. It's like you see, we have like people going about immigration problems and stuff here.
Mm.
In Ireland, they don't have that problem. Like, especially not in the north. The north's the worst because that's where they've been fighting like each other for. There was I heard about it. It was out there. It was like a load of Romanians tried to move into an estate. They went round and stabbed them like the local. Yeah.
Holy shit! Just stabbed him up, just like no.
Get out! Burn the place down and stabbed him. Yeah.
Holy shit!
It's how it's run, isn't it? It's just
It's
like,
Wild West, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Worse, man. Although the Wild West was pretty mental,
Well,
wasn't
they're
it?
just dead territorial, mate. Is what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
I wonder where that stems from then. Just because of this long-running
Yeah.
division, I suppose. Same in a lot of places where there's long-running division, actually, isn't it? Like, look at like Israel, Palestine, like Pakistan and India. Anywhere there's these like long-running tensions, they get that intense, don't they? I
Do
suppose.
you know what the last city in Europe to still be like divided in two is?
No.
Nicosia in Cyprus.
Right.
I've seen it.
Oh, is there like a big fence? Big like metal fence? I'm sure I saw a documentary about this. Go on.
Yeah, the Turks invaded the place in the 70s, so the island split in two.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, that used to be crazy. Odd situation that. I think it's called the Green Line, and they're not even far from each other, maybe 100 yards or less.
Right.
There's like towers down one side and towers down the other side with fences. And on one side there's all the Turks, and the other side there's all the Greeks. They just sit there staring at each other with rifles, yeah. And every now and again there's a discharge and there's a bit of a fucking firefight.
Shit.
Yeah.
What is all that tension about, man? It's such a.
It's the Turks invaded Cyprus, didn't they, in the 70s?
Yeah. Obviously there is real tension, but like, it happened a long time ago now. Well, 70s isn't that long.
No, well, there's still.
No, it's
that's
not
the
100
thing,
years.
If you buy land in the north, because it's like cheaper in the north, because it's obviously Turkey. Yeah, you have to watch it because you might find out someone in the south will sue you because it's their family like fucking plot or whatever. Yeah.
Shit. North South Korea as well. All those war games all the time. All that, you know, like places where there's already tension. There's always this constant like signaling to each other. You know, like hey. Like there's always this dance, like right on the front lines of things, on the borders between these two places usually.
Is President Trump? Is he like he's making friends with King John fucking Un at the minute?
Yeah, he's sort of doing talks with him of some kind. Whether
He's a big Dennis Rodman fan, isn't he?
he is, they're mates. He's friends with Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman's like one of the American ambassadors to North Korea, really. In an unofficial sense, like, because he is friends with, he hangs out with him sometimes. I think maybe like once a year or less. I don't know, but like he does go and visit him and talk to him, and yeah, I don't know.
I go to North Korea.
Yeah,
They grow weed everywhere.
do they?
Yeah, but apparently it's not very good.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, they grow it by the sides of the road and that. Like, King John runs into a bit of a wacky like. Yeah.
I bet their field health is shit. But that's what it is, because it all got pretty badly fucked up, didn't it?
The field health.
Yeah,
Why?
the fields all got pretty badly.
How?
By being bombed, weren't they?
Right. What was that? Was it war with the
It was with America, like
the South?
they bombed loads of.
It's not the Korean War, is it? I don't know too much.
Yeah,
about that. Yeah.
I know a little. I didn't know a lot, but from what I heard, the Americans like they bombed most of everything that was there, and then they didn't have any more structures left to bomb, and they were just like bombing fields and stuff and destroying crops and that, which is a shame. You know, I mean, I suppose it won't cause too much lasting damage unless there was weird chemicals in there or anything. But yeah, and then China was fighting on behalf of North Korea, weren't they? Like it was kind of a proxy war between America and China.
Aren't they?
Yeah. So China wanted Korea and America wanted Korea, and they went to war in Korea over it, and split it in the end rather than it being all communist or all capitalist.
And now China's a superpower and America's waning.
Yeah, I think it might take a while, you know, it might take a couple of generations before America really tanks it, maybe. But China's on the way up and America's on, because like empires fall, don't they?
Yeah.
And it can take quite a while. I don't think we're in the end stage yet of America, but I think we've started the second half of the book. You know, it started going downhill. You know, America's reached peak when it elected Donald Trump, or maybe when they elected Obama. You know, because they were both just as bad.
Yeah, well, America only rose to be a
maybe
superpower
2008.
After like the Second World War, it's the only place that had its like infrastructure still standing, and it had like loads of debt. True, yeah. Like people owed it loads of debt, like we owed it loads of debt, and shit like that. Yeah. It didn't join the war right till the end.
Yeah. Big transfer of wealth then over to America from.
I think we only just finished paying our debts back to them, to be honest with you. Yeah. It wasn't that long ago.
So what, they were providing financial aid to the war effort but not participating before they joined or something. Yeah.
Arms, I think we're buying arms
Selling-
and tanks and
yeah,
stuff off them.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a crazy business, man. Crazy business.
What, arms?
Like just not really necessarily business itself, but the volume and the profit. You know, I think like some people make just huge bazillions. Like, well, only about 5 people, which is the problem because there's like 5 million people that work in the industry, and like 5 of them are just raking that shit in.
Have you seen that film Lord of War? That's a good film.
Yeah, with Nick Cage. Yeah, I thought I was like Blow, but for war. Like it was like he went back, didn't
He
he?
was a proper guy as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. There's some good movies. Did you see that recent The Vice
No.
about Dick Cheney?
No.
It's the same guy who did The Big Short. Did you see that?
No.
That was about the 2008 financial crisis, and it's got Brad Pitt and Steve Carell. Steve Carell doing like a semi-serious role. He's
Right.
like this financial investment broker
How does that
guy.
work out for him?
It's really, he's pretty good.
Because it's
pretty
like when
good.
Jim Carrey tries to do serious stuff.
No, it
It's
wasn't
really
like yeah. I enjoy Jim Carrey more when he's talking about the Illuminati.
bit more slapstick.
But yeah, I think what was he talking about? Who was on about?
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. Yeah. He had some funny bits just as like a stressed out guy. Like he was just quite a normal guy, and then he was fuck, and like flipping out at people and telling people to fuck off and stuff. It was really good, and yeah, it's about the 2008 financial crisis, and one guy who saw it coming and nobody believed him, a couple of guys who found out about that, and then a couple of other guys who came up with it independently, closer to it actually happening.
Which financial crisis?
2008 housing
Right,
crisis in
but not
America.
the, depression or anything like that.
No, the most recent
Right.
one. The most recent, the 2008 crash when the subprime mortgages all...
Have you seen that
Tanked.
Wolf of Wall Street? That's a good film.
Yeah, shit, that was good. That was good. But again, man, the same thing that's in politics in there, you know. There's a lot of corruption in there. A lot of corruption. There were some good times had by all, I'm sure. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, you know, I'm not passing judgment or anything on the guy or any of that really. But there's a lot of corruption in that sector of life as well, the financial sector.
Yeah.
Like, and what is it? Like stocks? What the fuck is that? That's not
Oh, I
doing
know.
any good for anybody, is it?
Yeah.
You're not improving anything about the planet
Yeah.
by trading
Total
stocks.
stuff, yeah,
You're not
yeah.
adding to the global anything. You're not contributing. So why the fuck are you getting so much money for moving numbers around and placing bets on whether businesses will go under or not? Or you know, like it's mental.
It was a long time ago, wasn't it? The first ever crash, and it was over tulips, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
hearing about that. Was that maybe in the 20s? I'm not too good with history.
Oh, yeah, it was a long time ago, and there
Yeah.
was it was to do with tulip bulbs, and they just kept fucking going up in price, like ridiculous prices for tulip bulbs, and then all of a sudden there was just a big crash because people were like,
Yeah.
"Why we paying so much for tulip bulbs?" And that was like
Yeah.
the first time there's a stock market crash.
It's
and
weird,
everybody
isn't it?
just
Just sometimes
with loads
the
of tulip bulbs and no cash. Fuck.
shit. We thought this was gonna work. Just keep putting the prices up. We're gonna make loads of money, and then it all tanks. That's the thing, isn't it? Like people are always trying to get what they can out of it, and that chips away at it, and then eventually, whatever the thing is, like collapses. Like whether it's houses, the housing market, or an energy sector. You know, fracking could.
Fracking's going to come out to its face.
Yeah, but I mean, it could.
Were
there's-
they kicked out of America, that company, and then they ended up here?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure actually.
Right.
Quadrilla.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Were they kicked out of America?
I'm sure someone told me they were kicked out of America for causing tremors. They came
We
here.
get the worst. Them and like G4S and stuff. I don't know, man. Like,
Did they have to stop on the first day of like actual fucking drilling or something? 'Cause
yeah,
they-
yeah. As soon
that was-
like they've said now that they've asked the government to relax the thingy laws because they say it won't be profitable if you keep these low standards because it's at 0.5 they have to down tools.
Yeah.
And they're like in America it's 4 before
Right.
they have to down tools. But it's like it's Lancashire. It's not California.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a fault line. Like it doesn't regularly get earthquakes. Like any earthquake's a bit weird in Blackpool.
Oh yeah,
You get some in
A
Wales.
few years ago, mate.
Yeah.
It was like
That was
I
fracking.
thought we had a poltergeist.
Shit, I
was on the couch. Nothing else seems to move in the room. And I was like, "What the?" Cause I had a smoking that lot, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" I thought, yeah, my mate's girlfriend was like proper into like fucking ghost stuff and that a lot as well. So I'm putting it down to poltergeist, and then I found out, yeah, it was tremor.
It was fracking. 2011.
Yeah.
That was fracking. That was the first time they tried fracking, and they had to stop for like 4
Was
years.
it?
Yeah. That was at Priest Hall, I think. Yeah, it was a tremor-linked fracking. I remember I was sat. Well, it happened when they did the first test. They did the first test, and the ground went. You know, it wasn't a big one,
Yeah.
but I felt it, and I felt like it went across the room. Like something went. And I was like, I'm the only one in here. What was that? I'm going to bed. Like I just had to go to bed at that point. It was a bit weird.
It was just the couch and where I was.
Yeah.
Just the couch vibrating.
Just the couch vibrating.
Yeah.
That's mental. But yeah, that was
Nothing
they
else
tried
moved.
fracking. So they've said, can you relax these laws now? And it's not going to happen. But the thing about fracking is, and this is true in America as well, which is a problem. Fracking companies in America are going bankrupt because even if you've got pretty loose regulations, it's not a profitable business. The amount you get is pretty negligible. The amount of heat it's getting is costing it a lot. It's slowing it down. Like Quadrilla, the amount the protests have cost their pockets
Yeah.
is pretty considerable. Really, the delays and stuff that have been going on there, that's cost their pockets. But so there's been a lot of investment in America into the fracking industry. So when these fracking companies go bankrupt, it's not just them going bankrupt. They're taking a lot of investment money with them. So a lot of other companies have put money into them,
Right.
and they're losing their money. So the worry is that too much of that can lead to some kind of financial crisis coming from the gas market
Right.
rather than the housing market, or what was the one that you said before?
Yeah.
The first crash?
The Great Depression, all that.
Yeah. What was it that crashed
Wall
it?
Street and that. Oh, what actually?
No, you said, yeah, the first one, something weird crashed it. The price of...
Oh no, that was. What was that one called? That was in fucking Holland. That was.
Oh yeah, the price of tulips.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever
That was
it
from
is.
like the 1600s or something.
Oh,
like that.
oh,
Yeah.
right, really?
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
Oh right, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't realise. Well, yeah, I suppose it does go back that far, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty mental to think that back in the 1600s there was a financial market. In a
Well,
sense.
it was just trading. That's it. It was
just a trade market.
It was just traded in tulip bulbs. Yeah,
Right.
because the price of them had gone up so much, people started trading in them, and then all of a
Right.
sudden they realised, well, why are we trading in tulip bulbs? And why are they so expensive?
Oh, because we've been trading in them. It's a weird self-perpetuating game, isn't it? That just allows certain sections of society to harvest off wealth, just cream it off. You know, like the housing crisis. Well, a big part of the problem in 2008 was that all these subprime mortgages have been given out, and those debts were then put into packages. So you get like 100 subprime mortgages that were risky, that the paperwork was maybe not filled out quite right on, that the mortgage agent said, oh, just say you make a little bit more than you do, it'll be fine, it'll never come to anything. These people probably weren't going to be able to pay. Package all that debt together, sell it to a debt company, and they rated it as like AAA, like solid financial rating, because the ratings agencies say that's what it is. So they rated it as really good debt. People bought it, it collapsed, and everything collapsed, and the housing market collapsed in America, and then Iceland went under.
Iceland.
Yeah, Iceland went under pretty quick. Their banks failed pretty quickly.
Why
in
the people lending
2008.
money out to everyone?
No. It was the same thing. It was the financial market. I'm not entirely sure. I think what it was, because what Iceland did in the end was they jailed a lot of their bankers.
Right.
So I think it was the practices of the bankers over there, of their buying and selling. So it's a small place, obviously, isn't it, Iceland? And the community's in like
And there's only
one
so much.
spot.
I think it's habitable as
Yeah,
well. Isn't
exactly,
There?
there's-
There's like glaciers and shit there.
Yeah, there's loads of
volcanoes there as well.
Yeah, loads of them.
I'd like
Loads
to
of.
go to Iceland actually.
Oh, it looks amazing, man.
Yeah.
And they've got weird music. You know, weird musicians people. But yeah, they jailed their bankers. So, and then the people kicked the government out and wrote a new constitution in, I think, 2011, after they jailed all the bankers. And they said to everyone, like, the Americans and the financial market was like, well, what about your debt, Iceland? And they're like, you can talk to them people we put in jail. It's nothing to do with us. Bollocks to you. And their economy's been doing really well since then.
Yeah, Norway's economy does well because their country's like run like a corporation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really tightly run.
Yeah.
Mm.
Got like really low like unemployed, and like those that are unemployed are like really well looked after, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah.
Has it got quite a closed border system then? Because often you have to have that if you have a generous welfare state.
Yeah.
Mind you, don't Norway do
No.
free education for anybody, even if you don't live there?
Yeah. No, I think they're encouraging people to move up north. Because no one wants to live in the fucking that cold, do they?
Shit, no. But I mean,
it's proper hard to get into America, right? But I'm pretty sure it's easy to get into Alaska. That's an American state. If you're willing to live here, you can.
Shit, yeah. Shit. Same with Siberia, innit? Didn't the Russian government say, like, if you want to come and live here? Yeah.
Was they hoping to be like a land grab, like fucking with America? People with horses and carts are going across the bloody Urals and fucking tundra.
Shit, man, I wouldn't want to go. It's fucking cold there, eh?
Yeah,
if you forget to be minding the
Circle.
fire for, I don't know, a few hours, you might be dead. It's intense.
I used to do snow clearance
Did you?
in Cyprus.
All right, I thought you were going to say in Siberia then.
No.
So that sounds... Why would you clear the snow in Siberia? Surely that's too much effort. Like, just leave it be. By and large. Go on.
Yeah. I couldn't actually believe you got snow in Cyprus, mate. But there's Troodos Mountains there, like a mountain range. There's like good like golf balls, like, you know, like radar listening stations, like this in the Middle East and shit up there. But,
What's going on in them? Do you know what goes on in them?
just listening to the Middle East.
Yeah? That's what the
Yeah.
golf balls are, they're listening posts.
Yeah, radars.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I always wondered. I've seen them before, you know?
Oh yeah.
But not known. Listening places, huh?
What am I trying to skin up here with? Is that the fucking there's 10 more skins left or whatever?
It might be. In fact, it is.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I am mashed. Do you know who first produced the a terrorist handbook?
No. Wait. Tell me.
It was us.
Was it? I was going to say the CIA. But
No, it was us. During the Second World War, we used to like drop them out of planes and stuff like that, and they used to have instructions about how to make like homemade explosives.
Oh, to encourage
and
the
how
locals.
to grot people and all the rest of it. Like,
Have to grot people. Become a spy like James Bond, grot people, holy shit.
yeah, but they used to drop them on the streets to try, to like form a resistance kind of thing. Yeah.
There was a resistance, wasn't there? Was there?
Well, yeah, there's resistances everywhere, mate.
Yeah?
Yeah, you had the
Well, of
partisans
course, yeah.
and shit like that, and then you had the French resistance. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my military history is a bit sketchy with World War II with specifics. You know, it's a bit... didn't really pay attention in history to much, you know?
No, the history when I was at school was shit, mate.
No, especially like battles.
I don't mind battles and shit like
Yeah.
that. It was we never had any of that. What we had in school was like it was the Industrial Revolution. I can't think of it a more boring. I mean, I know fundamentally it's important. I mean, it's like the workhouse of the British Empire and all the rest of it.
And it could be interesting if you had a good teacher, probably.
I really don't care about fucking cotton spinning machines. It's the history of the tea kettle.
That is shit to learn about the tea kettle. Back in the day, you used to put it on your fireplace, on the lintel, or the mantelpiece, perhaps, or on your wood burner, which we can do in theory. I think we've boiled water on there when the lecky's been off. Yeah, for brew when the lecky's off. Of course. Fire warmed water is the best kind of water.
Is it?
Well, no, it's the best way to heat your water.
Yeah.
It's nice. Fire water. So yeah, the Resistance must have been pretty fucking hectic. Huh? That's like real. Like there should be a million movies made about that, surely. Instead, we got fucking LOLO. Like this thing that had there were loads of people in like these life and death.
That were fancy fucking Renee.
Yeah.
The stud muffin that he was.
Mate, he was a player. He was balling all day. That guy.
Oh, Mimi.
All day. Mate, he was next level. Was Renee? I tell you, he makes Adam West look like a fucking choir boy or some shit. But Adam West was wild too. Don't forget.
Adam West.
Never forget Adam Wee. No, he was wild. It was crazy. Cocaine days and all sorts of shit.
Yeah. What,
The
Batman?
set of Batman was wild.
Yeah.
Wild. Batman, him and whatever Robin was called, it was just orgies all day. Orgies and cocaine all the time.
What? Batman and Robin had orgies and took cocaine?
Yeah. Well, you know, Adam West
Was
and
the women involved
Robin.
in taking?
Yeah,
Was it?
well, might just have been them.
I hope so.
I don't know. It was pretty. I'm sure I heard someone talk about it, and they said it was pretty wild. I think it might have even been. It's terrible. I can't. Well, Dick Grayson, you know, Robin. I'm not sure what his real name is. The actor that played Robin, but he said it was pretty wild. And Adam West was mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on Family Guy. You could tell. That wasn't acting. That was Adam West in his rawest form, I think.
What about Lou Ferrigno? Do you reckon he was a party animal?
I reckon so. Got to have been, hasn't he? Got to have been. He looked like such an excitable
The
guy.
Hulk movies have come a long way, haven't they?
Shit, yeah. Shit, yeah.
From a guy pettigrew going.
Yeah. To like Thor Ragnarok and the
Yeah.
fight with Thor. Shit, that was good. That was good.
That was an awesome film. I like
So good, man. Like really psychedelic, a lot of it, and
yeah.
yeah, they're putting a lot of interesting ideas out there, Marvel. Like Doctor Strange.
Well, it's owned by Disney now, isn't it?
Is it?
The Evil Empire, yeah.
Shit, they own Star Wars too, don't they?
Yeah.
Shit. Walt Disney's still making money. Do you know why? They need to make so much money. It's because his cryosleep's becoming really expensive. They thought it'd get cheaper over time, but it's not. And he's probably like had a couple of errors and decayed a little by now. Mr. Disney's brain. In that vat.
Is that what they got? Have you got like his head in the jar, his whole body?
Gotta be. I reckon it's his. No, I reckon it's his head, or maybe even just his brain. I don't know. No, well, I reckon what his plan was is one day he's going to come back as a robot, and you better have fucking kept Disney running, you little shit. He said to his son, "You better fucking still be around." And he's going to come back as a robot and be like taking over Disney again and make it an even greater empire than it is by then. That's what I reckon's going on. Big conspiracy time.
I'm glad you have the same view of me as Disney, that it is an evil empire.
Well, I mean, yeah. You know, there's a lot of.
But they do like good stuff with the Star Wars movies now. It's like they did go a bit shit. I mean, I was brought up in like the old 3 Star Wars movies. Yeah. Then like Phantom Menace and the rest of it was.
The Phantom Menace was awful. I'm enjoying the new ones though. I have to say.
Yeah.
So they're
Rogue One
Disney.
and Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as terrible as it is, you know, I enjoy Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's not like fucking a tour de force of amazing cinema, but for a movie about pirates that's sometimes a bit weird, yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Disney do all right, but they're evil. And Mickey Mouse. Have you seen Mickey Mouse on South Park?
Yeah.
That was the fucking greatest. Ah! You gotta wear the chastity rings, boys. It was the greatest thing, and then he beat the shit out of the Jonas Brothers, didn't he? Mickey Mouse beat the shit out of the Jonas Brothers.
Have you been watching any new South Park?
I haven't caught up in ages, you know. Since the credits went 3D.
Pap for a while though.
They did a full story arc over a season, didn't they? Instead of like individual episodes, like they did
which season was that one?
It was the first one that I didn't watch.
Right, no, I don't think I've seen that one. It's when they started like having guinea pigs in costumes and stuff like that. I started losing interest.
Yeah, whenever it heads into musical territory, anything, I sort of start losing interest. But they were so current, you know. And like it was just such a quick show to put together, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like they could really keep up to date and release things like the same week they happened.
Did you ever watch? How old are you, Levi?
32.
Did you ever like Spitting Image as a kid, or was that?
Borderline, but my mum
Yeah.
watched it, but I was very young.
Yeah.
I would have been.
That was good at the time.
Yeah, I remember liking it more as I got older.
No, have you seen it?
Yeah. But to be fair, I was busy reading 2000 AD, most likely, or waiting for Batman to come on. I was more sci-fi than political, or sci-fi and fantasy and political back then than political, because that'd be weird, wouldn't it? If a child was political, like eat the rich. I did though when I was little. Helped my mum sell magic mushrooms at Glastonbury. I was a cute baby outside the tent on a haystack, and there was a sign in front of me or something that said mushrooms. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But I was a baby, so I don't remember.
How did you go to Glastonbury as a baby? Yeah?
As a baby, yeah, the one and only time so far. I'd like to go one year, but I wouldn't really want to go to the main areas. I'd want to go to the. I'm more interested in something like, is it Boomtown, where there's like a village?
Never been to Glastonbury,
No.
mate. Yeah, the only festivals I've done, download like shitloads of times, and I went to Leeds one day. That was alright,
Yeah.
but it's no download.
I'd like to go to one of these ones where there's loads of mental stuff going on.
I like, one of Celtic ones.
Yeah.
Or
something like Burning Man.
I wouldn't even.
Or,
Yeah,
that'd be
that's,
sick.
you have to go stateside.
well, you do. And there is talk, I'm sure I've heard talk of Europe.
There's a Wicker Man one here, but.
Yeah. Just something where there's mental shit like that going on, really, you know, like...
Yeah, might do like a folk festival or something.
Folk would be alright, but like Burning Man's like giant art and shit, innit? And they set fire to everything, and there's weird Mad Max vehicles and like weird trippy installations and stuff. And there's some things in Europe like that, but I don't think there's anything in the UK. There's like a secret garden party and a couple of other places that are a bit more themed, but
my sister went to some weed festival in California and some like Cypress Hill and that lot, and she didn't even know who Cypress Hill was. That was the gutting thing. She's like, "Do you know who these are?"
what could you hear?
You what?
What did she call you or something? Or
No, she was just like,
before?
she was showing us pictures and that lot of when she was there.
Cypress Hill, goddamn. At the weed festival. Of course they were. What other kind of festivals would they go to? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's funny how Snoop Dogg at one point said he doesn't do weed and stuff anymore, and then as soon as it's legalised, he's got his own fucking line in that line. He's got his own cannabis line, hasn't he? Yeah.
Of course he has. Yeah.
Mike Tyson has now as well.
Yeah, shit. He's started a podcast recently that's really good. He's had a few good guests on. He had Steve-O on. And Steve-O's Ace on podcast. Like, he's a really interesting guy. I want to see Knoxville.
Steve-O?
Yeah. I want to see Knoxville on a podcast, and most of all, Chris Pontius. I'd love to see Chris Pontius just nattering away for a few hours. It'd be good shit. But yeah, Johnny Knoxville as well, that'd be good. But Steve-O's really interesting to listen to, because he went fucking bonkers, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he was out of his mind on PCP and every drug, I think, pretty much. Just hard, but he's sober, I think, maybe even 10 years now.
Right.
Maybe what was
immediately after Jackass then, was it? Or?
I think it was after the first movie, perhaps.
Right.
Maybe. He went into like this meltdown and he was recording loads of stuff. Just from his room and just hallucinating, tripping balls. Just going mental. But then, got sober, and sometimes that's necessary, man, sometimes you've got to get sober, like, you can't smash it forever.
Have you watched, like, the Wild Boys episode where they give themselves, like, shocks with electric eels? That's pretty
Yeah, man, I loved Wild Boys. Wild Boys was ace. Again, Pontius, and Manny, I loved Manny as well. Oh, nice. Yeah. Manny was really cool. There were loads in the Jackass bunch that were really cool. Rab himself, he was cool. Rate Yon, the beastly looking guy with the curly hair and the beard.
It's been a while since I watched Jackass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know, actually, that was the first celebrity death that affected me, really. That I felt a bit, oh, that's a shame, was Ryan Dunn.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's what I was like, oh, shit, yeah, that sucks.
How did he die?
Car crash while he was, I think, I might be wrong, but I think he was drinking
Right.
and driving very fast, and there was a passenger as well.
Oh, shit.
Both died, fireball, smashed it into like a fountain or something. Like just smush. Yeah, man. Bad way. Well, I don't know. I mean, it might have been pretty quick, I suppose, but pretty fucking irresponsible. And shame someone else got hurt. You know.
You ever been in a car crash?
No. Imagine it's pretty intense though.
I've been in a couple.
Yeah. Were they pretty gnarly ones?
There was one when I was an apprentice electrician, and it was a French drivers just started driving up the wrong side of the road and went bang straight into the front of us.
Shit.
But yeah, all I did was bend my thumb back on my dashboard. I should have claimed for it, but I didn't know any better at the time. I was like 16.
Right.
I rolled a tractor once.
Shit. What? Trying to do something it didn't want to do?
No, it was a drive to get used to him, so I pretty much got away with it. It was like we were driving up this road and there's speed bumps on the road, and like they've got pivot steer, so I've hit this speed bump and I was bouncing down the road and I was heading towards, of all things, a bus of disabled children or something that was by the road. So I put full lock on, and all of a sudden it's bounced the other way and just rolled
Stunt movie shit.
rolled into a ditch. And then like looking out the front, and I think some grass or something must have got into the stack on the front of it and caught fire. But I was like, shit, it's on fire. So I was like, that thing's so quick, mate. The tractor that was behind me, because we were going up in convoy, he's going, oh, did he get out of that? I was like, it was me. Yeah, he got out. And then like when the corporal got there, he made me climb back in it and climb back out of it again so we could take photographs of it. And then put it up on the board, like on a big picture, what not to do, with me crawling out of a tractor.
Amazing. So did you end up passing for your tractor?
Yeah.
Nice. So you clearly know a bit of your World War II history and stuff.
World War II history?
Yeah. Tell me about that shit, because
You don't know World War II history?
yeah, I know rough outlines. I know we had to fight Hitler because he was an awful human, and
well, a lot of it. We won through deception, didn't we? That is what the British is good for. Oh yeah.
right. So through like intelligence agencies or
Yeah, that's what we're good at. Feeding false intelligence to the Germans. That was what fucked them up a lot.
Right.
We fed them false intel into where the landings and stuff were going to be. What they did was they found a dead tramp, made him like a false ID and that lot. Put like letters to his sweetheart that he was writing back in England in his pocket and stuff to make him believable. And then handcuffed a briefcase full of false intelligence to him, and then dumped him off the coast of Spain because they were still like allied with the Germans.
Okay.
And they fed it back to the Germans.
Mental. So a lot of deception. That's the thing, isn't it? It's a shame. While there's a lot of people, dying, giving their lives for stuff like that, and there's people.
Yeah,
can you not do that one more? And
this tramp that died of pneumonia in a warehouse in Wales was got a medal and stuff like that for being a war hero.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. Definitely was, wasn't he? I suppose in his own way. Wouldn't have worked without him. Another
thing as well. You ever heard of Patton's Army?
And it rings a bell.
Right, Patton was an American general. And that was another thing they did before the D-Day landing is they got basically loads of like inflatable tanks and stuff like that, and made like a false where they're attacking from. Feeding back, there were just all these inflatable tanks. We did it in the desert as well.
Yeah,
we made loads of like tanks and stuff. Like we put tanks at like wrecks there. Right next to the enemy lines, and every day they're like looking at these wrecks, and like, obviously the first couple of days they probably shot at them and stuff like that. And then as weeks went by, they just like ignored them, and then we moved real tanks into the positions where they were. We used to do a lot of stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you got to have tactics, aren't you? And
Yeah.
tactics have got to evolve over time because as soon as they're known, aren't they?
Well, that's what the British has always been good for, though. Because we are a
Innovation.
small nation, so we've had to innovate. Yeah.
Mm. It's a fantastic little melting pot of cultures over time as well. Like there's a long
Britain,
history.
definitely.
Yeah.
And there's a lot still. I mean, everyone worries about us leaving Europe and that a lot, but we've still got a lot of ties to the British Empire. A lot of them want to be tied in with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, you got Australia and Canada, and they still put the
Yeah,
Queen and stuff on
Commonwealth,
the coins.
innit? Yeah. It's weird that we had an empire for such a small place, but yeah, we do. Well, we did. It's mental, innit? Just went over and took over a lot of places, just moved in and shit. It's mad behaviour, but it happened. It's alright. Good things came out of it, bad things came out of it. History moved on, It's quite an interesting time, really. My great granddad he was over in India during the Raj. My family actually moved there before that, but he was over there in the Raj. And he was, I can't remember what, he was a plantation owner, so they had not slaves but servants and workers. They had workers that were paid probably very little. I don't think they had slaves, but I don't really know about India. They used people as slaves, didn't they? The British in India.
I think there's a lot poor about, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's like it's why slavery was never very big in this country because there's just ways of poorer and they were cheaper.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of like maids. I think people were paid something, but it was probably very little
Crust
for
of
the
bread.
labour. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe accommodation and a crust of bread, a shed to live in, and a crust
If
of
you
bread.
sweep out my chimney, you can keep any birds eggs you find.
But yeah, man, it's weird, isn't it? We did that. We went over there and we took a bunch of stuff, did a bunch of stuff. Crazy British. But my uncle Elwyn, who I got my middle name from, he was a chap who, if there was a big animal bothering a village, he would go out and hunt it and kill it. So if there was like a big cat, he'd go and wait in a tree. And I heard he wrestled an alligator. And he used to wear, I've seen like a picture of him, and he was wearing the
Crocodile.
proper... Maybe, yeah.
You don't-
Probably would be over there, wouldn't it? Yeah. Alligators are American, aren't they?
Yeah.
But he had the proper colonial hat, like khaki vest with lots of pockets. Khaki shorts.
I've
all
seen
that.
pictures of him, yeah.
Yeah, just a couple. But he was in full colonial outfit, like mental. But yeah, it's just another weird place, isn't it? The conflict wasn't as bad there. The conflict between India and Pakistan's been pretty bad for quite a while, but it's not. Well, I don't know enough about the modern conflict over there actually.
Did you know when it started though, yeah?
No.
India, well, it was like a big subcontinent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
India and Pakistan was one place.
Yeah.
That was under British rule as well.
Okay.
And then when we left, we sort of like said to the Muslims, you live here. Hindus, you live here. Good luck. And
We
then-
set up the border and then left.
Yeah.
How
And
bizarre.
they've been fighting ever since.
So what was the purpose in us doing that, do you think?
You are.
What was the purpose in us doing that, do you think?
We just couldn't keep it afloat anymore because of like wars.
No, in setting up the border.
Because it was split anyway between.
Okay, so there was already
Muslims and
tension between
Hindus,
communities
so
there.
They moved one lot to one side and then.
The same as in Ireland.
Yeah,
Sort of, the same between separation between
the
two
Catholics never
religions.
really left. That's the problem there.
Right, okay.
And they're going to. Yeah, do you know the barracks I used to live at? It was about 5 years after I left there. Some lad got shot. He ordered a pizza to the barracks. They went out to collect it, and they shot him at the gates. It's
Who
like,
shot him?
some conterrorists.
Just
mate.
some-
Who orders a pizza to an army barracks?
Yeah, I mean, that now that you
Like,
say it, it
proper-
does sound obvious, yeah. But if I didn't know, I might, I don't know. Shit, yeah, somebody's going to do that every now and then, aren't they? Some other fool thing like that. That's mental though, isn't it? Just some unnamed terrorist of some kind.
I don't know. I don't know if they ever chased him up or whatever. Probably
Oh,
not.
no,
No,
that's mental.
highly unlikely. It's, yeah, It's a crazy place. We used to carry like Browning 9mm around with us.
Right.
Yeah, as our sidearm.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of things in civvies. So if you're picking people up from the airport and all the rest of it, you'd be like,
Right.
carrying a pistol.
Providing some level of security
Yeah.
for in case it does kick off.
Well, you can't really fit an assault rifle in the glove box, can
No.
you?
That's very true. Shit, so you will have been on edge quite a lot of the time though, weren't you? As you were doing those kind of things.
What, picking people up from the
Yeah,
airport?
picking people up and having to have a weapon on hand, but concealed weapon, and having all these different possible things that could happen.
I had a pistol, I want to shoot someone.
Oh shit. She was waiting for it when you're like, God, is it them? Oh, it's not them, bollocks.
Put a cap in your ass. West Side.
Shit. So is the north the west side?
No, there's some muppet, I won't name his name. Yeah. He had a pistol and he tucked it down his pants, his like jogging like tracky bottoms, and he went to a petrol station and it like fell down his inside of his tracky bottoms and ended up in his sock. And, I was like, oh. I think at one point it fell onto the floor and he had to scramble to pick it up, but no one's seen luckily. But could you imagine walking to a petrol station with a handgun?
Yeah, that sounds like trouble, doesn't it, straight away? You're ringing alarm bells.
I know, yeah.
Shit. How old were you when you joined up?
I was about 20.
20.
Yeah.
So pretty like fully developed.
Yeah, couldn't do many pull-ups or press-ups or anything though. I was a student before that, mate. So the heaviest thing I think I lifted
Student?
before that was
What were you doing?
Was a
Yeah.
bong, mate.
Some kind of art student.
IT.
IT.
Yeah.
Nice.
I did,
Getting blazed, doing IT.
2.5 years of IT, and that's pretty much all I did was get blazed, mate.
Mate, all of Silicon Valley is fucking blazed all the time, and it like all that industry. There's so much
Passed all
drug
my
use in
tests.
that
I
industry.
passed it with MVQ Advanced. I got like a merit, which
Yeah.
is like 2.5 A levels.
So what can you do in IT?
Absolutely nothing.
What can you fix my computer for me? No, but I can get blazed.
I mean,
That's what I got good
I
at.
think it was only there like 50% of the time.
Yeah.
25% of the time for the really early classes. Is yeah. But I managed to pass all the tests because there were multiple choice. So there's like,
Right.
yeah.
So what you just?
You just have to have a general like consensus of what the right answer is.
Oh, you just have to remember the right answer.
Well,
sort
no,
of thing
because
when
you don't even know. It's a general. Like, if you got a choice of 4,
Yeah.
there's always like 2 that's sort of close and 2 that are
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah. You
That's
can whittle it
50%
down.
elimination.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Like a bit, like it's kind of cheating, but honest cheating. Like you're allowed to do it. It's fine. I do it with maths all the time. Like if I'm trying to work something out, I'll cheat. But then I get high and I can't do any maths at all. It's the worst.
The other thing was as well at the time it was IT was fairly new, and every college used to put an example of assignments up, but they were all different. So you could just go on to a different college and get the assignment you were just given, and just basically rip off the example, just change it round. And
There's ways round, isn't there? It's not got to be about learning things. College, at least, not the things you're being tested.
now I played Quake 2, mate, against all my friends. Were all linked together. Yeah.
See, man, yeah, you just like if there'd been something that was more focused towards gaming, maybe you'd have been more interested, you know. But it's starting at basics, isn't it? If you like looking at creating games or something, or yeah, I've never massively been into shooters.
No.
No, I prefer like questy type games, or I really like beat 'em ups. Like if you're 2-player beat 'em ups, like that's
So like Mortal Kombat.
that's good. Kit. Yeah, Mortal Kombat's a bit tech for me, man.
Yeah.
Like it's a bit serious. Like I prefer my Tekken's Soul Calibur, really, if I'm honest.
Right.
That's my jam, Soul Blade and Soul Calibur. UFC games, that sort of stuff. A wrestling
I've
game.
been playing like UFC 2 recently.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's alright.
but I'm telling you, man, next time I get a console, I'm getting that VR. Holy shit, that's gonna be some fun shit. Can't even imagine. There's some installations that have been done. Like there was
When you get Mortal Kombat in VR.
That's the problem with VR. You see, you can't do beat 'em ups.
That's
You
fair.
can't do Tekka. If you can't do a backflip, then you can't do a backflip in a game in VR unless you could do some kind of special little jump. But I mean, that's a bit. You could turn it into like a dance game, and if you did a certain dance move, you'd do a certain fighting move. But you can't really do beat 'em ups in VR. You could do boxing, but you could probably
Are they
track a
still
bag.
popular as fucking dance things you see in the arcade?
Yeah, for some reason
People still
they're
go on
huge.
that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still big deal shit. I think for some people who are into that, there's still definitely a group of them.
The games don't seem to like modernise anymore in arcades. They seem to just like flatline down.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of shit that's in there when I was a kid. It's not really changed.
Again, though, VR. If you go to Preston, there's a place that's a trampoline place, and they've got a VR arcade where they've got like 5 different games, and they've got like proper setup. Like one of them's a roller coaster, and you're in a proper car that like shakes and stuff. And there's another one. Oh, there's a Tron one where you're on like a bike
Yeah.
that you can rev and stuff, and you've got VR Tron racing, and like you lean on it and stuff and drive with the bike, and it's like you're in Tron, which is pretty mental.
So I've not been for years. Well, I'm gonna have to go this summer. Alton Towers.
Alton Towers.
You've been there, yeah.
No, I've not been Alton Towers. No, no, I went to one in Derbyshire or Nottingham. It's Gulliver's.
Gulliver's World.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I was doing my digger course in Skelmersdale. I was like driving past where Camelot was. Like, it's like a carcass of a theme park now, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so much stuff in there that's going to be cool. It's such a shame that people can't get some of that cool stuff. There's going to be beautiful.
Loot.
You can't, mate. You've got to.
Pillage.
Uh,
Pillage.
You've got to leave behind only footsteps and all that, haven't you, if you go there and not take stuff, because then you'll get clamped down on. But they should be trying to do something with all that material they've got, because there's loads of great timber in there. There'll be nice paneling. There'll be some stuff that's just imitation, but there'll be some stuff that's like, it's just like cheap fiberglass.
Yeah.
But there'll be some stuff that's solid wood. There'll be some good shit in there. Decorations.
A couple of falcon skeletons.
Yeah. Like, what sort of good shit's going to be in there? There's going to be loads in there. You could get some kind of haunted bar. There's stuff from like a haunted house, like the chairs and stuff. I don't know, really.
That's why we should go pillage.
We should, but then like you need a van, and like the van needs to stay near somewhere where you can get in, and then you need to carry it across. I'm guessing some open ground and shit, and you have to be pretty good about it. Maybe a visit and then a loot. Maybe you'd have to visit, work out where all the stuff was.
Yeah, go
Go
back to what I
back.
was saying like before about Cyprus, like, telling you about that Green Line.
Mm.
Like, split the country in two. There's like this whole like villages and stuff like that are in between the line at places.
Right.
Yeah, where people have just got up and like left all the stuff and shit.
Between the line,
Yeah.
like no man's land.
Yeah.
Right. Shit. And they've just left the places.
Yeah.
Shit.
They've like been left like that since the 70s, yeah, because no one could get in there because they'll just get shot.
Right, because it is just lawless.
Yeah.
Shit. It's mad, man. Stuff like that happens in Rio as well, doesn't it? And I suppose in the US, there's there's turf wars, isn't there?
Yeah.
Between gangs in the US and it's a shame, man. And I think a lot of that would be severely reduced if you legalised drugs. I think.
It is slightly illegal in a lot of places in the US.
Yeah, which is good news, at least for marijuana. There's still like the
You see-
cocaine
you should
trade.
Legalise all drugs.
Yeah, I think so. I think addiction's a health problem, not a crime problem. I think violent crime associated with drugs, you should punish the violent crime perhaps with jail time or something like that. But I think drug addiction should be a health issue, not criminal one, perhaps. What do you reckon?
I think it'd probably be a good idea because, like, it's better than people trying synthetic drugs and shit. You know, it's what people are always going to try and do is find their way around it. And prohibition is never a good idea. It's tried and tested. And it's never worked.
No. You just sort of hand over economic opportunity to
organised crime.
Yeah, a black market, which even if people want to get involved with quite innocently and positively, they're in a marketplace that's dominated by people who aren't necessarily thinking that way. You know, that there's some mean characters out there in the drug world, like some really mean characters. And you know, in some ways, handed it over to big business.
Why create opportunity for organised crime?
Yeah.
It can be regulated and tested, but then again, we're British, and they always like our government always wants to be the shining light. They promise things, but it won't happen, really.
Yeah, I don't think we're too far away from legalisation in the UK. I think maybe less than 5 years, maybe.
Certain areas.
Do you think I'd love to see that in?
No, not. But there's certain areas they don't come down on your horns. Some areas they still do.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, Yorkshire, was it South Yorkshire Police said we're not going to really bother unless you're being like really blatant and doing something, you know, causing a scene. If you're not causing a scene, we don't really give a fuck. We've got other things to deal with. And it's true, it'd be good to free up police to do actual police work instead of...
That's the thing, police won't respond to a lot of crime now, especially if it's like possessions, like if someone's break into your car or even your house. They don't do a lot these days, do they?
Slow response times, you know, stretched out, underfunded, understaffed, you know, loads of...
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're free of blame, you know, there's loads of corruption in there as well, and there's loads of stuff that the police themselves are doing that aren't great. Some attitudes, I think, are quite prevalent in police forces. There's quite a lot of superiority. I don't think it's in the majority of police. I think it's a minority of police that are that way on, but they are causing a lot of fucking trouble. You know? And
where do you refer to?
I suppose corruption in policing, like, well, let's take for instance the policing at Preston New Road over the fracking. Like,
right.
The police there have not been keeping people safe from the traffic. That's not what they've been doing there. That's why they say they're there to keep the protesters safe, but what they've been doing is moving people out the way when a truck needs to get through, and then just blocking the road the rest of the time. You know, like always having one lane closed so they can have vehicles down there, as well as the private security and the fencing, and just sort of facilitating the company Quadrilla, facilitating Quadrilla, and not really being there to make sure the protest is safe and orderly, and that, you know, they're not there protecting the protesters at all. Yeah. And that's what the job of the police is at a protest, not
protect the public.
Yeah, not facilitate lorries getting in, you know, because they are a private industry that clearly a lot of people don't want here. You know, it's voted against in Lancashire, and then Westminster overturned that.
Yeah.
We were at Preston when they were voting. It was really good. Like, there was a big crowd out for the local vote on fracking in Preston, and loads of people beeping the horns as they went past. People were up in the windows in the council building. People up at the windows looking out, taking note of the scene. There was people playing drums. There was marching and dancing and signs and shit. And they voted no, and everyone cheered. And there was one guy, after we heard that they'd voted no on fracking, and everyone was cheering, there was one guy stood in a high up window, just like that, just staring down at everyone. And he looked like the villain. I was like, that's some bad guy there. Look at him. That is some kind of nemesis guy. But and then it was overturned in Westminster when the industry appealed to government.
Yeah.
So we got it. And then the police were facilitating it.
So what's going on at the site now then? Are
they've stopped doing anything.
Right.
They've finished their
just rusting then, or?
They've taken a lot of it out. There's some talk of another phase beginning, but they don't appear to be moving anything on site. And I expect if the safety limits don't get raised, they'll go bankrupt inside, I don't know, maybe 6 months, or I don't know, they might start up again and then go under. If they start up again right now, they'll probably go under pretty quick, before getting enough gas to really pay for it.
Victory for the people then.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the protests cost them a lot, slowed them down a lot, cost their pocket a lot. So
The protests been going on like nationwide as well.
yeah, different sites, different proposed sites. There's a lot of proposed sites in the UK. A lot of it on really nice greenbelt land, which people don't really want to happen. Because in America, like, there's these big empty spaces that are pretty much desert, which is where they usually do fracking.
Yeah.
And we haven't got that. We're a little island of lovely green forests and hills and stuff. Like, it wouldn't be great if they were fracking in the Lake District, you know? And, like, it's getting into the water table, and there's a bunch of weird chemicals in the fluid they use.
What is it? I think we're like the most densely populated country in Europe, aren't we? So,
That would not surprise me, yeah.
you know, for space and the amount of... Yeah.
We are small.
It's like even when you go for walks in the countryside and you might be in the middle of nowhere, you're bumping into people and
Yeah.
there's like people fucking dump rubbish in that land. They're
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah. We are definitely densely populated. But it's interesting, I think population growth is slowing down a little bit. I think it definitely is in China, population growth is slowing. And I think it will start doing bit by bit over here. I think so. I think
Needs to.
Yeah, I think less people having children in our generation, and the generation. What do you call the generation after us? Oh, how old are you?
38.
38. So you're not a millennial, are you? I'm a millennial. You'll be what's before millennials?
You're a millennial?
Yeah.
Wow, when was you born?
86.
86.
Yeah.
How's that make you a millennial then?
It's if you had like your 10 to 20 sort of around the millennium,
Alright.
sort of that sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
you were.
Well, it's 20 on the millennium then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you're a pretty old millennial. You're sort of close to the, but you're in a bit of a weird border zone. I think I'm not, because we're not sure. No one's sure exactly what the
I'm the original
cut-off date
millennial.
is. So what year were you born?
1980.
1980. Yeah, I think maybe 10 in the 90s, 20 in 2000. Yeah, I think you probably are a millennial. How do you feel about that?
I'm the original.
The OG millennial. There's some people that reckon that the first 1,000-year-old human's already been born, right? Because they're by the time we're 60, we could get our life extended potentially to like 120, 130 maybe in decent health. So by the time you get to 120, they can increase your lifespan to 180. And then by the time you get to 150, they can increase it to like 200 and so on and so forth. So they reckon the first 1,000-year-old might have already been born. How funny would it be if that was a millennial? It'd be a well funny name.
I can't see it making people live that long, to be honest
No?
with you. No.
Definitely if you uploaded to a robot body, you could. In a flesh bag, there are difficulties, but what? Like we've...
Is it you, though, or is it a copy of yourself?
Well, that is a fundamental question. Is there continuation of experience? Do I go into this robot thing, or does a copy of me turn on inside the robot thing? That is the question, isn't it?
Because you just, like, your memories would just be, like, freaking reruns played in your head rather than actually living the experience, surely.
Well, I suppose you'd have to extract more than just memory. You have to extract whatever it is that consciousness is. You'd have to find a way to extract that. Or there's a good book by Alistair Reynolds where they talk about the technology of scanning people's brains into computers to make, and they have like several tiers. They have like a convincing simulation that's just a bit of software, animated version of you running on good information about you. And then they have like the alpha level ones, which are proper. They are the real deal. That is that person inside a computer framework instead of in a physical body. But for those ones, the scan you have to do to obtain that information is such an intense energy source going to scan the information out of your brain into the computer that it destroys your physical brain. And that's the only way you can get. If you destroy the brain in the process of transferring it, then you really get there.
Well, just because it jellifies you.
No, just like I know. I mean, it would just be, I don't know.
Pumps your brain from the inside
Yeah,
outwards.
it just vaporizes your brain as it's scanning it, and then that brain vapor goes into the
brain
machine or something. Yeah. Maybe you could do it like that. Maybe if you had brain vapor go into the machine, and it analysed it all or something. I don't know. I wonder if like there's some people that think that consciousness, the brain's like a receiver rather than a generator. So there's two views of consciousness really. One is that consciousness is generated by the brain. So there's this meat thing that's sending electrical signals around itself, and that once there's sufficient reason, that generates consciousness. Or the brain's like a receiver, like a radio, and consciousness is a thing that it receives.
Right.
So that's the two potential views,
Right,
I think.
so whether what you're perceiving is what the brain's generating, or whether it's actually...
Whether it's something... Well, whether the thing that's seeing is being generated by is the brain, or if the brain's receiving something. So if it was receiving something, then I think we could design a machine sufficiently advanced that it would receive consciousness, perhaps, and then you'd get incarnation into it. Like you'd incarnate into a robot form.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or something would. You know, like consciousness would somehow enter into that instead of a brain. But who knows? Do you think it'd be just a copy?
Well,
Do you think you couldn't get the actual you across?
Well, it's not reliving your past memories and experiences through you actually being there in your eyes. Surely it can't. It'd just be reruns of it, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be.
What, doing new stuff?
Just past stuff. You know what I mean? If it's not actually been there and it's all it gets is...
Yeah, it gets probably a skewed version of events because it's your own version of what happened.
Yeah.
It's like you were saying before, like two people having a different story about a thing, so it's getting your story of what's happened to you over your whole life, not necessarily what has happened. So maybe that'd make it a different person. It'd make it a different personality. If what you thought happened to you had actually happened, it'd have had a different effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you'd have a weird alternate version of you instead that lived the life that you thought you'd lived and was different because of it.
I'm not convinced it'd be the same person anyway.
No?
No.
I think we need to find a way to get out of these flesh bags. That's what I think. And into like some titanium.
I think we need to get more real. I think we need
More
to
real.
burn it all down and
Burn it all down.
go live in caves. And...
Oh no. We can't, surely. We've come so far. Can we let some people get onto Mars first? And then Mars can be like all futury. And we can take the Earth
I never
back.
understood that it's like... You probably would. Would you want to go live on Mars? Yeah.
Maybe.
Realistically,
Well,
if you think you'd never get to come back again, would you actually want to live on Mars?
I would be more interested if I could come back.
Your muscles are going to waste away. Your bone density is going to lower. So eventually,
That's true.
you won't be able.
The gravity's
to come
weaker,
back.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything goes wrong up there, and you're like.
But if I could go, could I go and spend a year and then come back? If I was doing a lot of
Well, that's what they
exercise.
say. It's the cost of getting you back, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
all these things that are advertising for people to go there. Like, it's the cost
Of getting people back.
So it's a one-way ticket.
Let's
Mate.
see. I mean, there's something attractive, isn't there, about frontiers? Like, if I was alive in the time of the American West and I was in the frontier,
See, like a tree or like a
you would,
gust of
because
wind and
you'd
stuff.
have to make some kind of atmosphere or some kind of pods with vegetation in. You would have vegetation. You'd have.
You would be going trees though, would you?
Yeah, Planted trees out there. They might not grow like giant oaks in your lifetime, but that's all right.
If you grow like potatoes.
It'd just be like Australia, wouldn't it? I think like a frontier in Australia where you had to build a tent if you wanted to live. Like hot. Mind you, it's cold as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really the big problem, isn't it? It's cold.
It gets like -30 and shit.
Yeah. Which we don't want. But didn't somewhere in America get to that recently?
Oh yeah, you can survive it.
You just don't want it all the time.
There's probably places that get to colder than -30.
Yeah. Shit. Can't even imagine it. I'm sure I heard somewhere that was like -100.
There's that film in there with is it Matt Damon, The Martian? I tried watching it, but I fell asleep.
It is quite a slow. Like there's quite a trend in sci-fi. There's been for a while now of quite slow-paced dramas happening, with like the sci-fi being a small element, like movies like Safety Not Guaranteed. Have you seen that? That was amazing. There was an advert, a real advert, in a paper that said companion wanted for time travel experience.
Right.
You must bring your own food and weapons. I've only done this once before. Safety not guaranteed. And then like a name and an address. And they made a movie about it where someone goes and it's really good. It's really fucking good. It's got Mark Duplass in it, who's an amazing actor. He did Creep and Creep 2, not the one on the underground.
Right, yeah.
A different one that was amazing. Best film of the year that it came out in, which was probably 2018. Creep 2, best movie of the year. Amazing. He's a weird actor, Mr. Duplass. What were we talking about before movies?
I have no idea, mate. I'm pretty wasted.
Yeah.
That's some good bud. I think I've been greedy having this fourth beer as well. Oh, sweet man. Yeah. So many times have you been to Amsterdam?
Oh, twice, thrice.
Thrice?
Thrice. Yeah, it's alright, it's pretty good. It's not the best place to get stoned though. And I'll tell you for why. It's really fucking busy. And there's bikes and cars everywhere.
And they're all going the wrong way. They're all
And
going the wrong way.
I remember being really high.
You've got like a bike lane, a tram lane, and then a couple of lanes of cars to get through.
But that's not where to get high. Someone was like, "Do you want to get a bike?" And I was like, "No, I'm high."
I like it. You know the crosswalks there. The way the tick gets loud, like faster and faster. Like,
Yeah.
It sounds like machine gun fire, doesn't it? You're like running across the road. Like,
It's one of. It's not a great place to get high. But
you get it's like I'm not stereotyping here. This is generally who I get harassed by every time I go to Amsterdam. It's like it's coloured people trying to sell me cocaine. They walk past you and go, cocaine.
Yeah.
You want cocaine?
Yeah.
And like when you're off your face on mushrooms and stuff on the first one, that's not what you want because they follow you for ages, fucking harassing you. Don't they?
Yeah. It's no good. Someone I know tried to buy LSD while they were there. Someone was like, "Oh, do you want to buy some LSD acid?" Because they do cocaine, LSD, acid. Trips, LSD, acid, cocaine, MDMA. And he bought LSD and the guy gave him, it was wrapped in a tissue paper, and the guy said, "Give me the money." Scary guy. Quite a few of them, 2 or 3 of them behind him as well, scary guy. And he was like, "Here's the LSD, give me the money." He gave him the money, they walked away and he opened up the tissue paper and there was just nothing in it. And he was like, "Oh, I'm going back." And his friend was like, "No, don't." And he did go back and the guy was like, "Oh, there's nothing in it." And the guy was like, "What?" "Yeah." And he was like, sort of, "What are you going to do?" sort of thing. He was like, "Oh, yeah, nothing." Yeah. Didn't think this through.
You're getting a bad review on Yelp.
Man, this is before Yelp, I think. But yeah, shit. You know, you can't really go back. That's another thing about the black market. Like, you can't guarantee anything. You can get somebody can rip you off, and there's not much you can do about it unless you're physically capable, which you might not be if you're potted. You know, you might just be if you're a hippie.
It's the last thing you want after you've been eating space cake and all the rest of it is fisticuffs.
You don't want your acid dealer to be Aggie. That just puts a bad vibe on the acid, doesn't it? Not that you can fucking get it in England. Jesus Christ.
No.
I've not had much luck ever.
What you need are students, mate, that have the dark web.
Students. Ah, man, yeah. Keep thinking about the dark web. I'm probably going to edit that out.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, because rule number one of the dark web.
No one talks about the dark
Yeah,
web.
especially not on a public thing. Not about intending to buy drugs on the dark web. Jesus.
But you'll get me an AK, yeah.
Mate, I went on once. I didn't get anything because you have to do all sorts of weird shit, don't you?
Do you?
You have to like get Bitcoin, and that's complicated. And you have to get a
Is it?
wallet, and you have to
Oh, is it to get
anonymize
Bitcoin?
yourself. And
How hard is it to get Bitcoin?
I don't know.
No, not that far into it.
No, I have. You can get it from. You can do it at ATMs, but then you have to like encrypt everything. I don't know how to do encryption. You have to
Right,
do a bunch of stuff and transfers and a bunch of stuff to make sure you're secret
right.
and nobody can find you. Because if they can, then you're buying Class A's or something. You can. That's serious shit, and they do sell it. But I went on there and I was looking at what there was because I was just interested in what there was, and there was fucking everything.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like, there was on there. And it's like eBay. So like it's reviewed. So if you just choose someone who's got a lot of reviews, people saying, yeah, it was what they said it was really good. There you go.
Yeah,
That's a brilliant marketplace.
Yeah.
But so I was looking around and there was all that stuff, but then there was like a little bit of it that was like some homemade stuff. There was like just miscellaneous, and there was some skulls, not real ones, painted with chalk paint. So you could decorate them, or like painted skulls, and they weren't on eBay or anything. There was nothing like that listed anywhere else on the regular internet. It was only for sale on Silk Road. But yeah, any drug you want, and it says the purity, and then there's people in the review section saying it tested at that % purity. So like it, because another thing with trying to buy LSD in an illegal market is it might be just 2CB. Or there's a bunch of other chemicals that are sold.
Which one's 2CB then?
It's one of the newer, I think it was invented in maybe the 80s, but not really used too much, and then has come about recently. It was legal for a little bit in some places, and then it was put on the psychoactive substances list, I think. It's just a hallucinogen, a relatively new invention, hallucinogen. There's a bunch of different, there's 2CE, 2CB, 2C7 or whatever. There's like 4 or 5 different kinds. And people are using that on blotter sheets instead of acid and selling it as acid. And it's a different thing.
It's like MD, was it I'm sure it was not the 70s, was legal in the 70s. It was actually put in like an alcoholic drink, but people...
Was it?
Yeah, but people didn't like it and it never really caught on.
I bet they put a shit dose in...
How times change.
Yeah, shit, as if I didn't catch on. It's like one of the more enjoyable things that's out there, And the thing is, like, if it was legal market, then you've got pharmaceutical grade. You can have little contaminant, because contaminant can mess you up depending on what it is. Stuff that you're not really supposed to ingest, Like, what do people cut MD with? Like, talc or whatever, or just powdery shit, you're not supposed to really eat. Gives you the runs and shit. Apparently, like, pharmaceutical grade MDMA, you don't really get a come down.
Right.
Like, if it's good purity, there's not really a come down to speak of, any more than a light hangover. If you drink plenty of water, don't mix it with alcohol. That's the killer.
I like MD because I'm alright on MD.
Yeah.
Like the next day I don't really get too
Really?
big a hangover or anything now.
Do you drink as well with it?
If anything, it sorts the hangover out. To be honest
Really?
with you. Yeah.
I found that with Valium. I found that if I have Valium when I drink, I don't get a hangover.
Is that because you don't like wake up for a day or something?
Got up feeling
Sleep
fresh
clean
as a
through
daisy.
that shit, yeah.
Yeah, man. Mushrooms as well. I remember the first time I had mushrooms, I woke up feeling amazing. It was like the opposite of a hangover.
Yeah.
I just felt incredible instead of feeling like awful like I would normally after a drug. But I've not had that feeling since.
Right.
I only had that the first time I had them. I think you don't get your first time twice with psychedelics. I think it's usually, if you have a good sized dose, blasted off. But I have seen more intense stuff since then. I've seen, in Doctor Strange where the walls all sort of start rolling
Yeah.
almost like clockwork when they're all moving around. Like the fields over there all did that.
Yeah.
In like all the fields were like rolling into each other, like the entire landscape. And what I'd forgotten about mushrooms, because I hadn't had them in a long time, is how it looks properly real. Like I remembered almost seeing stuff on top of stuff, but it looks like it is the actual thing.
Was that Liberty Caps, was it?
Cubensis.
Right.
Cubensis. Which is one of the ones McKenna liked. It was pretty reliable. It's nice. That was 2.6 grams. And that was dope. Like all the fields rolled into each other. That thing I was on about before with the light happened. The grain on the house was just running like rivers. Like all the grain all over the outside was just.
Where'd you get that from?
A local source. No, we got that from Weed City back when it was legal in whatever year it was legal in when we bought it there. Yeah. Long time ago when you could buy mushrooms legally in the shops. The golden era. I can't believe it even happened. Salvia's illegal now as well.
Is it?
Yeah, you can't get that in head shops
I don't think I've
anymore.
ever tried that.
Man, it was dope.
Yeah.
It's dope. There's some people who say it's up there with DMT as one of the strongest psychedelic drugs. When it's smoked in concentrated form, it's insane. Like, it's not popular because it is very intense, and if you're not expecting it, and if you panic, it can get really bad really quick.
Yeah.
If you panic, it can get really weird. If you can disassociate and not really be in charge of your body anymore.
So have you tried that DMT then? Have you?
No, I've not tried DMT.
Right.
No. I've tried it, but it hasn't worked. I haven't broken through on DMT.
Right.
I've had a go. One time I saw just a long triangle tunnel, eyes closed. You smoke it, lie back, eyes closed. Long triangular tunnel, and then it was just black walls. There was a little bit of light on the corners. That's why I could see that it was a triangle. And on the other side of that was this mad shit, long way away, little triangle, like looked like that or something. Mad shit colours going on there, but I knew that I wasn't going to get there. Like, and I didn't get there. And another time I tried it and just had the body feeling, not really anything visual. Didn't break through. So that was a shame. One day. But salvia, buddy, it's no joke. Dias had it, and he said that we were on the beach. Ruined him for years. We were on the beach in Blackpool, and we called him up. And he didn't really know what it was. He thought it was a bit like wild lettuce, it's just a legal high. Because back then legal highs were just lettuce.
Right.
Weren't they? All those bags of herbs that you could get.
Yeah.
Just crap. But salvia, holy shit. He smoked it. Said he felt a giant sort of snake-like thing drag him to the sand and then pull him into the sand and underneath, and it was waving him around like that. And while that was happening, he'd fallen over onto the sand, and he was flying around on the sand really fast, like moving around crazy fast, freaking out. We were trying to steady him, and he was like, rah, rah, like freaking out. And it can happen. It's like a weird drug. Some mental shit can happen on it, but it's really good.
I think you've never tried it since.
No. No. He said it.
Attacked by a snake monster.
Yeah, exactly. You don't go back for seconds on that. I didn't even know. I didn't see him for years after that. And then suddenly it's like, it kind of ruined me for like 2 years. That. I was like, oh shit. It was madness. Another lad had some, and he just knocked over everything in his room, and he was just smashing about. Somebody had some and said they sat above. No, they looked up and saw themselves up there instead of looking down on themselves. They looked up and they were up there, or their other self was up there looking down at them. Loads of weird shit. I was a corner once, and it's hard to describe because mushrooms can make you feel melty. They can make you feel like you're at one with the universe. but they can't make you feel like an inanimate object. But with the degree that mushrooms can make
Sometimes
you...
I do feel a bit like a mushroom when I'm taking mushrooms.
Yeah, I suppose, but mushrooms not inanimate, man. Mushrooms are vibrant,
It's very
living
slow
intelligence, isn't it? Yeah, man, it's beautiful. You know, like I was a corner, just like that. Like really convincingly, I just felt as if I was a corner, and that it fascinated me. And then sometimes things got bigger or smaller. One time I coughed up a perfect sphere of vomit because I burped and coughed at the same time. It just went out of my mouth. Yeah, it was pretty magical, really. I think. I can't really remember a lot of it, but it was just like really intense, like something like mushrooms or ayahuasca or something like that. That's long duration. That's like 6 to 12 hours with LSD or whatever. That's like the shorter psychedelics are like that, crammed. You know, like they're not like 15 minutes of peak that. They're like the whole thing crammed into a little window, so they're really intense, like salvia, DMT. Although I've not broken through on DMT, the body feeling was intense. I was off in space in my body, but yeah, I didn't break through. It's no good. But I've had some peak mushroom experiences, so I'm happy about that. It's just such a shame that it's outlawed, that we're not able to pursue it.
Peyote would be good, but I wouldn't fancy the stomach cramps and being fucking sick for ages.
Yeah. I think there are steps you can take to minimise that, I think, aren't there? A little bit. You can, I think, have...
Yeah, I mean, that stuff you had to trip for about fucking 12 hours or something as well, yeah.
Have you ever heard of Datura?
No.
That's a weird one that was used a lot in Israel at one point by some hippies. And it's a risky one because it can make you trip between 12 hours and like a month. Like some people just go fucking lunatic for a month. Because like after 24 hours of tripping, you're pretty much lunatic. Like so for the rest of that month, you're going to be just freaking out. Can you imagine? Have you ever? I'm sure you've been tripping and gone, it'd be nice if this stopped now.
Why do you get off the bus?
Yeah, if you had the classic, what if this never ends? Have you ever had that one? No?
No, not so much. I've always had a good, awareness when I've taken drugs and stuff like that. Yeah.
That you've taken a drug and you're going to feel weird.
Yeah, basically.
Weird stuff's going to happen.
And I'm just going to go along with it.
So...
Right along.
Did you have like a bad trip experience early on in your psychedelic thing that showed you that? Or was that something...
I don't really think I've ever had a bad trip experience.
No? Oh, right, okay.
What was that? There was one time when I was on leave. But I'd ordered pints in the pub. And then I went to buy some smoke. I was trying to buy some pills as well for the night out. And he didn't have any pills, the guy bought them off. All he had was like a pill and a half that was crushed up. He's like, oh, you can have that. So I ate that. And then his mate came around and he's like, oh, I've just been mushroom picking. I had loads of, like a bag full of them Liberty caps. Just started eating them as well. And then next thing I know, I'm fucking running through town with my shirt off, shouting, I'm the Lizard King or something like that. I was fucking ruined, mate. Yeah, I lost like a whole day just tripping my balls.
Yeah? No memories, really?
No, I can remember.
Did you hear stories?
I think I went to sleep in a hallway for a bit, trying to get into my mates who was out at work, and then I'd fallen back because it was like flats, and then I watched the roof breathe for a bit because it had like a skylight at the top, and it was going whoa, whoa. And there was someone walking a dog as well. It was like a Rottweiler, but because the shadow off the light, because it got dark at this point, mate, like it was fucking massive. Like, yeah.
Oh right, yeah. Shit. They're a weird fucking thing. It's weird that your brain can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird that the mushroom does that. Like, what's the evolutionary advantage there? What's that mushroom trying to say? You know?
It'd stop most things eating it, wouldn't it? It's just people are a bit different.
Well, some things like in the Amazon,
there's things that eat things to trip.
Yeah, there's big cats don't have an MAO inhibitor, which is what stops DMT from being active when you eat it.
Right.
You need to eat DMT and a vine to make ayahuasca, because the vine allows the DMT to work. But jaguars don't need the vine. So if they eat something that's really rich in DMT,
Yeah.
they lie on their back for hours and just go like they eat it and get fucked up and lie down and look like they're tripping balls. So they use it for that. There's a couple of other instances, I think, of psychedelics in animals, but there's not many.
Yeah, I know they eat like fermenting fruit and stuff like that, don't they? Like,
Yeah.
It's like the world over.
Like
It's like
those.
deer and stuff in this country, isn't it?
Yeah. I think there's also some sheep and goats and that type of creature who don't have this MAO inhibitor, and there's some kinds of grasses in England that are very high in DMT. And,
Yeah?
and sometimes you'll see, I think it's certain kinds of sheep, certain breeds, I don't know, but I'm sure there's some where if they eat DMT grass they just fall over for like 15 minutes and stay there and then carry on. So they just have a little knockout experience of some kind. I don't think they eat it purposefully for that, they just eat it because it's grass and it's in front of that bit of grass they've just eaten. You know?
Have you ever seen a sheep when it like rolls onto its back, it like inflates, doesn't it?
Does it?
Yeah, because the gases and stuff in its stomach, it starts to swell up.
That's mental. Oh, what? When it's dead or when it's living?
When it's living, if it just winds up on its back,
What?
yeah, they swell up. I found one once in a field. We were like marching through it, and there's like there's a sheep. Obviously, it was all swollen, and I thought, oh, I should put it out of its misery. And like some farmers come running over. He's gone, no, just put it back on its feet. Got my knife out.
About to get yourself a nice lamb shank. So how long were you in the services for?
5 years.
5 years. And that was, did you say before 2 in Ireland or was it 3?
2.5 in Ireland.
2.5 in
A year and a
Ireland.
half in Cyprus.
Year and a half in Cyprus. Serious shit. Borders, isn't it? Those high tension areas.
What in?
Cyprus and
Oh yeah, I guess.
Ireland.
Yeah. Although, when I went over to Ireland, all the troubles were sort of like dying down at the time
Okay.
because the Twin Towers had happened recently,
Okay.
and the IRA used to get a lot of its funding from like bars in Boston and stuff like that. You know, like collection, like charity pots on the bars. Yeah.
Big Irish population in America, yeah.
But then after that, they sort of like seen the IRA as terrorists, so they like lost a lot of the funding
Right.
because
Right.
it obviously landed on America's doorstep.
Yeah. Shit. So that's died down
That
because
was
of.
that happened just before I got there, so it was like dying down. Yeah.
But it's still high tension and things might happen and.
It's dissidents. It's, people have just been brought up in that environment and don't just want to like. But I don't know what it's like there now. To be honest with you, it's probably just the odd local nutter now.
Let's hope so, huh? Let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah, but if you try and whack a border up right through the fucking country, mate, you can imagine what sort of shit that's going to cause.
Would it just? Yeah, see, I find it difficult to understand because I've not experienced that kind. I've not experienced border life in that way. You know, like the tensions that because of like checks on either side. Is that the?
It won't happen. They won't do it. There's no
Yeah.
way. There's absolutely no way either side will let them stick a border up.
Yeah.
If it doesn't matter what's discussed and agreed to, it won't happen. There's no
So,
way.
I think we must have a second referendum then. If there's only on the table a deal which creates a hard border or has this backstop, or no deal, I think there should be a vote
Yeah.
on which of those options we want. I think because the questions kind of changed a bit,
Yeah.
just to get a clear idea from the people of what they want.
It's kind of island's problem, really, isn't it? You're on your own. Sort it out.
Yeah. Well,
Leave it with Europe.
Although-
you can have Northern Ireland Europe. There you go.
yeah. I mean,
Enjoy.
Northern Europe. I mean, Northern Ireland is the DUP, isn't it? And they're kind of they've got a seat at the table. So I mean, it's going to be their way, or the highway there, isn't it?
Or what if you've got a seat at the table with
the Conservatives.
Right.
Because, if my maths is right, the Conservatives don't have a majority in Parliament.
No, who does?
Even with the DUP, nobody.
Right.
But the Conservatives don't anymore, so they don't actually have a working government. They don't have like a legit...
yeah, because it was they with to start with. It was the fucking Nick Clegg and that.
Yeah,
one,
Lib Dems.
Lib Dems. And
They had the coalition.
They melted away now. They,
Yeah, last election, the surprise one, they said if you vote for us, we're going to legalise cannabis.
right.
So they had a good bash. So somebody's had a bash at it now, so that's good. And I think if they do that in the next election, then Labour should follow suit and say, yeah, we'll do that. All right.
Is there many Lib Dems left now?
Not a lot. Not a lot. It's tricky, isn't it, the way politics is structured because of that. Like, fringe parties don't really have any ability to get voted in because they don't have constituents in every postcode or whatever, in every, what do you call it, not district. What's the word?
Electorate.
Yeah, in every electoral area, something, I don't know, bollocks. Yeah, if you've not got a candidate for your party in lots of those places, and it's the same in America, isn't it?
Right.
If you've not got a candidate for that party in your county, then there's no one in that party to vote for. So even if you want to vote Green in Blackpool, you can't because there's no Green MP.
Right.
So it wouldn't get an extra seat in Parliament. They won't have a government, so it's a bit tricky, that. And it's the same in America. To run as an independent, you have to qualify in so many states and do a bunch of stuff, and then you have to get representatives for your party in every state if you can, if you want to get that vote. But who'd want to get that vote? What kind of lunatic would want to be president?
Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, there's one kind. Theresa May. You know, she looks like a Roald Dahl sketch, doesn't she? Quentin Blake, rather. Roald Dahl didn't sketch that, did he? Roald Dahl's illustrator, Quentin Blake. An illustrator in his own right.
I bet she's wished she hadn't taken the job now.
Holy shit, I bet she does. Holy shit. How often do you reckon she has a right good cry? Sometimes she's not there at the
Love
fucking
or hate
question.
David Cameron. He did do the dirty, really. Did he was like fucking. He held that referendum and he just like dropped the mic.
Yeah, he did that.
I'm off.
Walked away.
I'm going on holiday. Enjoy.
Do your best to forget about that thing with the pig. That was one of my favourite days in British politics ever when it came out that David Cameron had possibly put his dick in a dead pig's mouth. That was a high point in politics for me. Really, that was amazing. And it was just a sign of someone being thrown under the bus. That's what I was saying before about this institutional thing that's going on. Like, somebody had that on him.
Yeah.
So if you ever don't do what I say, David, I'm going to tell everyone about that time you put your dick in a pig's mouth, if you're lucky. If not, if you really grieve me, I'll tell them about that other thing. You know, that dead hooker.
Does it really matter that he put his dick in a pig's mouth? We all get drunk and do crazy things.
There's that. But yeah, it was part of a fraternal thing, so it's just like I was saying, that institutionalising.
Like eating
sort
like
of-
fish and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sticking your dick in a dead pig, though, I mean, that's pretty mental. I don't know, it's just like the eating image that it brings up. You know, like this institutional grooming for the halls of power. Like making sure people have got stuff on each other, and it's not the end of the world if you put your dick in a dead pig. It's definitely not. It's alright, it's pretty bad if you put it in a live one. That's pretty bad, and don't put it in a living one's mouth.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Because, I mean, you're just not going
You'd have no weenie,
It's going to
yeah.
take moments for that to just bite off. Ridiculous idea. But a dead pig, we eat them. So what's fucking something compared to eating it? You know, we already eat the fucking things. Once they're dead, we don't eat them when they're alive. You see, same thing. Same thing. So it's
might
not.
as well desecrate it as well.
It's just it is just the culture that it represents. I think for me, he's part of that thing of these.
What animals do they eat in India? They don't eat cows, do
They
they?
don't eat cows.
Do they eat pigs?
They do. They do eat pigs,
Yeah, it's just not
Yeah.
cows.
not cows.
But they have like loads of them just wandering around.
Yeah, the race.
Do they not like milk them or anything either?
No, you're not really supposed to. But they do have cheese and butter. No, I do think they do milk. They must milk
so
them.
they do have a use.
Yeah, yeah. They used to be considered holy because they provided milk, meat, and leather.
Right.
So like food, drink, and clothing.
Yeah.
But obviously now you can't eat them. Or really probably make. They do use leather, I think.
Not too
But you can't eat
McDonald's out there then.
Yeah, well, yeah, they do hamburgers and stuff instead. When I lived in India for a bit when I was little. Like,
Yeah?
I went over when I was like 7 to 10, 6 to 9, something like that. And we had a pig that was a toilet pig. So,
toilet pig?
Toilet pig, because we had an Indian type of toilet. We had an Indian type shower
like
as well.
a pig at the bottom of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, not always in the bottom of it. It was a hole in the ground, and then a little shed built over the hole in the ground,
Right.
sort of like
So
an
you were
outhouse.
shitting on a pig or anything.
No. And then there was like a big pit under the shed,
Yeah.
and there was a tunnel at the back of the pit,
Right.
and you'd shit, and then the pig would come down and eat it.
I won't be eating bacon from that though.
Well, we went away on holiday to see stepdad's family, and we came back, and the restaurant down the road had a way with the pig
Yeah.
and eating it.
They eat the shit pig.
They ate it.
Oh.
They ate the shit pig.
Foreigners are quite minging, aren't they? Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they didn't. Well, no, they did know. They knew because we only lived like 5-6 doors down. I mean, it was pretty gross, but it was more funny than. Well, I found it funny. My sisters were a bit more.
You wouldn't eat any though, would you?
Hmm?
You wouldn't eat any of it though, would you? If someone brought around a fucking.
A shit pig. I mean, if it's been gutted and cleaned out like it should
Yeah.
be.
Well, like,
The thing- no, actually, do you know-
because it's what the taste of, isn't it? What they've been eating, and that is,
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
I
that
imagine
is true.
squirrels are quite nutty,
We got kitchen scraps too.
right?
Yeah. But yeah, I probably wouldn't eat a shit pig. The thing with pigs as well is, and somebody told me this, and I was like, don't. They don't really sweat. Pigs. They've only got what do you call them? The glands. These paws. They've only really got paws in their forearms.
Right.
On the front, well, the forelegs. On the front legs, they're not arms, are they? So they've only really got paws there, and they can sweat out of there.
Try it.
But usually, yeah. Usually that's caked with something that's usually blocked up the forearm area. It's usually got mud or shit in it.
Yeah.
So they don't really sweat, so they can't sweat out toxins. They can
Right.
only defecate toxins.
Right.
They can't sweat them out, so when they're in the bloodstream, it's difficult to get them out. So if you were feeding them shit, all the toxins in your shit would still be inside that pig. So if you give a pig growth hormones or toxins, any kind of toxins in the diet, any kind of mold or fungi on the feed, and that's going to stay inside the pig, and you're going to eat it.
Well, that's when like mankind started having epidemics from it when we start living alongside livestock like pigs and stuff like that because of the diseases.
Yeah. Yeah, when diseases jump ship like that, it's pretty weird, huh? When they jump
Yeah.
species like that. I remember when there was some bird flu going about, there was some worries about it around here. And I read that if you've got pigs and birds, then the pig can get swine flu and the bird's got bird flu. Both of them normally aren't going to be transmitted to you. They're going to cause problems in the local bird population. And if you've got a lot of chickens, they're going to cause problems. But usually neither of them separately are going to cause you trouble. But when they're both in proximity, reasonable proximity, those bugs compete amongst each other. And
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah, like a
bird flu
super
will try and
strain.
get across. Some of the pig flu will try and get across. And then you often get mutations that make
Yeah.
the new virus jump to humans. So you have these two different competing species virus, and when they combine, they can jump over to another species. So it is pretty. It happens, Stuff jumps over and stuff evolves. Diseases evolve. Bacteria's like top of the food chain, really. It's not us. It's not sharks.
Oh no, yeah. There's like bacteria that can survive in the vacuum of space and shit. Mate.
Shit, yeah. Yeah. Spores as well, you know. Apparently spores could survive in the vacuum of mushrooms. Which is pretty mental. That's why some people...
Mushrooms.
Mushroom spores, yeah, can survive in the vacuum.
Shitload of magic mushrooms.
Yeah, they might be from space, mate. For real. Might be from
Well,
space.
mushrooms might be from space.
They might be. Right, so there's this idea that...
And octopuses.
maybe, right? I think butterflies maybe too.
Why butterflies?
Because they turn from a caterpillar into a butterfly for one.
Yeah.
But also, when they're in the cocoon, they turn into mush. Right? Mush. And then they reassemble into a butterfly.
Yeah.
Right? If you condition a caterpillar a certain response, like you'd get a rat to run a maze or something, you know, like if you make it scared of something, or make it so it has a certain reaction to a certain stimulus, when it's become a butterfly, it keeps that memory.
Yeah.
Like it still knows how to do the thing you taught it when it was a caterpillar, even though it's been mush, entirely mush in a case, and then turned into a new thing.
Right.
It's continued through that. So, but there's this idea of panspermia. Have you heard of this?
No.
So it's the idea that life is seeded from space, that meteors bring carbon atoms, stuff like spores, stuff like things that can survive, like water. They bring those to planets, and they start life on planets.
Right.
And that's an
So
idea
like
of where
seed
we...
planets then.
Yeah, that's thingy spermia, transpermia. That's what that means, literally seeding planets. So, if that happened, let's say it happened, could happen multiple times, couldn't it?
Yeah.
From multiple different meteors, and various animals that have evolved on Earth could have come from different meteors.
Various animals from different meters. I don't know, because we're all carbon based.
Yeah,
so
we are all
it
carbon
kind
based.
Of does lead us to the fact that maybe we did all evolve
That's
from one of
true.
the meters rather
That's
than
true.
there's not that much diversity. Plus,
Yeah.
maybe there was different life forms and different meters, but that's just the one that.
Yeah, we have always been. Maybe carbon's common in the universe for that sort of thing.
I don't know. What was I watching? I'm well stoned. Methane. Methane's a gas, isn't it?
Mm.
But it was on one of the moons. Is it Titan? One of the moons of Saturn.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, there's like rivers and stuff like that. And,
Yeah, it's liquid.
Yeah, it's liquid methane, isn't it?
Yeah, instead of gaseous.
Like clouds and stuff like that, because they've looked and said, like there's river systems here, and they've like looked at it, but yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, and there's some evidence that perhaps I think silicon-based life would fare as well as carbon does in our kind of atmosphere. Silicon-based life in a methane atmosphere would be all right. You could do that. Yeah, that'd be a successful thing. I think life probably adapts to the planet. I think stuff like liquid methane, if life started happening on a planet like that, bacteria, something like that, those bacteria would evolve to deal with those conditions, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And then other things would evolve to deal with those conditions. Maybe some places are better for life than, water and liquid H2O and oxygen. The air's mostly nitrogen, we don't even breathe it. It's no use for us. If we breathe nitrogen, we'd be massive. Be giants. I think the dinosaurs breathed oxygen, didn't they?
There's stuff that predates the dinosaurs when the atmosphere had a different composition. I can't remember what it was more of, but it was like insects that were like fucking massive and stuff like that.
Yeah, big insects. Yeah, and then I think it was more oxygen in the air that allowed the bigger things like dinosaurs to develop.
Right.
Because there was a richer oxygen source in the air somehow that allows for bigger creatures that aren't invertebrates, like dragonflies and insects and stuff like that, like mammalian or reptilian, needs a lot of oxygen to get big, apparently.
It's crazy how some things haven't changed as well, though, isn't it? Through the millions of years, they've like stayed the same.
The crocs, the sharks.
Scorpions. scorpions and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like it was that fish they found off the coast of Africa. That was like that was meant to have like fucking died off millions of years ago before the dinosaurs, or whatever.
Oh,
They
right.
actually find them like
Oh, they were like some kind of a stonefish or something, weren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
Yeah, I remember. There's some weird shit in the ocean, man.
They've only explored like 10% of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
And
James
that's where most
Cameron.
of all life is as well.
Yeah. James Cameron went down to the Mariana Trench, didn't he?
Right.
Fucking film director and producer didn't take a fucking camera
Right.
and film his journey down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. What's that about? It's because there's a fucking alien base down there, so that's what I'm saying. He's not allowed to film down there. That's top secret shit. He bought his way in. You know? Got in on that top secret shit. They're like, Mr. Cameron, you need to stop making your movies so accurate. We need you to chill out on just like these 3 key elements that you keep repeating. Because we don't need the public knowing about those aliens, you know. Everyone think like the common justification for if people were covering up UFO interactions is like people would panic, innit? That's like why people say you would cover it up if it happened. Because if you tell everyone, why would they all panic? If they're not like about to come and kill us.
Yeah, if they've been here for a while, living amongst us.
Yeah, or like even if they were just
They're gonna suck my brain out of the straw or anything.
yeah, if they're not going to hurt you, why would you panic? I mean, maybe if you were particularly religious,
Yeah.
if it called that into question for you, I suppose. Because for some folk it is an issue, isn't it?
I suppose.
I think the Pope said it's okay. He said
Did
aliens
he?
are okay, God made them too, it's fine.
Right.
But he's the Pope, you know, so he's
So
the
it's
work
just-
of Satan.
ISIS will have a problem with it then.
No, nobody has a problem. Maybe it'll be the end of days before long. You know,
Let's hope.
could happen. I think, there'd be something about living through the end days. Some kind of geological cataclysm or a meteor impact or something. Some reasonably big event. Life would be like a movie all of a sudden. Like
Well,
everything would be really serious.
I hope the end of the days happen
Decisions
soon,
would matter.
whilst I'm still feisty, because if it's in another 10 years
Mate,
or so,
my back
I'm gonna
won't be able to.
over.
You know? Yeah, shit.
Let's just get Armageddon out of the way.
Yeah, man. I'm rapidly
What
losing
a
ability.
fighting chance.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what it is, doesn't it? There's all sorts of different things. There's like just geological things that are going to happen at some point.
Well, yeah, it's what's it called? Yellowstone Park. It's built on a super volcano, isn't it?
The
Well,
whole,
built
the
on a
whole,
super- it's on a
yeah,
super volcano.
the whole basin, isn't it? The whole. They were
Yeah.
looking for it for ages. Like, where's the volcano? And then they went up in a helicopter and they were like, oh right, it's the whole park. We thought it was like the top of a hilly bit, top of a mountain sort of plateau thing. It's like, oh no, the whole thing is a basin.
Well, yeah, because it's got geysers and stuff on it all over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. Yeah, if that goes, most of the planet's pretty fucked because you get nuclear winter for quite some time from the ash clouds. So
yeah,
crops
something
fail.
on that size, yeah.
Yeah, super volcano like that going off, yeah. Crops are going to fail for at least a season.
I've been
Unless
to
they're indoors.
Santorini in the Mediterranean. It's an island. Oh, what's the volcano called? There's a volcano in the middle of it anyway, and it basically blasted apart the island when it went off. There's like Minoans, I think, living there at the time, and
Oh,
it
right.
fucking vaporised a load of them. But the backlash from it, like fucking, it's believed to be responsible for a lot of the stories in the Bible because it's in that sort of area, and the ash cloud that went out is meant to like block the sun out for like
Yeah.
months and all the rest of it. Yeah.
It's danger, that, man. Because
Yeah.
that can cause, if that's global, that's, a danger to the global
And it pretty
population.
much wipes out, the Minoans as well,
Yeah.
because there was like a big fucking, I think it was earthquakes and tidal waves and stuff like that in Crete, so it wipes them all out there. But all
Right.
this from this volcano going off, yeah.
It's dangerous shit for the planet, man.
I think it's still smoking and shit today, mate.
Shit. There's a place in America called Centralia, I think. That's what the place they based Silent Hill on. And there's a coal mine underneath it. And a fire got started in the coal mine. And it's been burning ever since. And they reckon it's going to probably burn for a few hundred years.
Yeah.
Because you just can't put it out once it started smouldering a coal, like a huge amount of.
How's it get ventilated though? Can they not just close that off?
I don't think so. I think it's just simmering and it's like
Right.
heating the ground and burning its own way through the ground in spots.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's like not causing like big violent wildfire type stuff because it's coal. It's just
Yeah.
there's just so much ember inside there, and it's just going to burn for ages. And it's all misty like Silent Hill. It looks properly just the same as Silent Hill, all abandoned and covered in mist. We can go there, but there's dangerous levels obviously of coal vapour, which has got a bunch of bad stuff in. Carbon monoxide, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mad, that danger tourism. Would you be interested in that?
What's danger tourism?
Like Chernobyl and stuff.
Chernobyl.
Yeah, Fukushima.
It'd be good to go have a look. I'll take it to provide you the radiation suit. You don't.
Depends who you book with, doesn't it? I think you can go to like Pripyat, which is near Chernobyl. You shouldn't really go to Chernobyl without a radiation suit, but if you just nip into Pripyat for a few hours, you can see the reactors, and there's like an abandoned fairground and huge abandoned apartment buildings and stuff. And you can go there for a couple of hours and come out, you'd be alright. Be fine. It's short exposure to radiation, it's okay. At that kind of dose. Like it's about as risky as a scan at the hospital sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not too bad. And, you know, you won't know for 30 years. At that kind of level. At high levels though, you're just fucked, aren't you? You just melt.
Yeah.
Kind of. You just sort of
Yeah.
wouldn't like that. Would not like that. And it's a danger. Like what if the apocalypse happens and we go like no electric? Shit. All those power plants need electric. All of them need it. Like all the nuclear power plants need electric to run the safety protocols and the systems that keep the thing cool. So if you don't have electric, then you're pretty fucked. And your plant's going to melt down after a few years.
Should have some sort of safety thing in place where.
You'd have generators, I suppose, but it's a lot of electric.
Uh,
A lot of electric. You could use fuel to power generators, for sure. You could maybe have deep storage batteries. Finite though. Unless the electric comes back on.
you need like a nice renewable resource. I mean, if you look to like Northern Africa and places like that, you could easily get enough solar power for most of Europe from there, like fields.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely big. There'd be big uses of that in Africa as well, because on a scale like you could do there.
Let's invade.
They don't need to invade, man. They just need to do solar. It's all right. Fucking colonial guy over there. We should run the world, mate. Can you imagine if the Tories got all colonial? I wouldn't want the Tories running. The
Colonial the Tories.
You know what I mean? Boris Johnson suddenly in charge of the planet. Jesus Christ. Jacob Rees-Mogg, Grand Supreme Ruler. He's the worst. Out of all of them, maybe. Probably not. There's some bad fucking eggs in that party.
Which party?
Well, the Labour Party's got a lot of different people in it now. A lot of people have resigned in various stages.
Corbyn's still there though.
Corbyn's still there. Yeah, he's still doing it. There's more people that like him in there now. the ones
that don't.
The ones that didn't like him left because they had to.
He's not going anywhere.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I reckon he'll get in.
In what?
In government. He'll be Prime Minister. It said in the Daily Mail the other day, if we accept... Was it a no-deal Brexit? It was either no deal or Theresa May's deal. They said, if the Tories do that, then Jeremy Corbyn will be in power for 20 years.
20 years? He might not live 20 years. He's not exactly a spring chicken, is he?
He might. End up dead not long after being Prime Minister, to be fair, if he tries to do some of the things that he says he'll do with like financial markets.
I bet Theresa May will leave fucking number 10 doing a cartwheel, mate. Woo!
She'll be so happy to get out. But she has to, it's weird, isn't it, because she has to pretend like she really wants it. And she has to do things as though she does kind of want it, doesn't she, still, I think. She wants whatever she gets for being Prime Minister. She wants to do her thing.
Well, Tony Blair got a lot because he's a corrupt fucker.
Mm-hmm. And they make a lot after the Prime Minister career, don't they? Like going around doing talks and shit.
Well, he went and fucked up the Middle East, didn't he? And then
Holy
now he's
shit.
like a fucking... Is he like some sort of diplomat or something out there? He's fucking some
Mm.
peace broker or something, but he's made millions off it.
Yeah, he does do peace talks and stuff. But yeah, they also do like lectures and
But he's the guy that caused all the
private
problems
banquets.
there.
Yeah, it's pretty mental. Yeah, wasn't he like in the Middle East? Isn't he like guilty of war crimes according to like courts in the Middle East?
Well, yeah.
I think if he was over there, they'd fucking snap him up.
They forced this through where they've gone and invaded Iraq and that lot saying there's chemical weapons there, but there's never any chemical weapons found there, so that's surely got to be a war crime in itself.
Well, I mean, yeah. Spurious evidence, and it's a preemptive attack. You know, it's not the country was under threat. It was we think he's got these kind of weapons. And
It was
we've
an
got to attack him
invasion.
before. And that's like Nuremberg. You're not allowed
Based
to do
on
that.
no solid evidence, evidently.
Yeah, based on some flimsy intelligence.
That they made up.
Yeah. But yeah, so like Nuremberg rules are you can't do a preemptive war. You can't attack someone because you're worried they're going to attack you.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. You can't start a war
Preemptive
in
strike.
case. Yeah.
It's a good strategy.
It is a good strategy in combat.
Yeah.
I think once war's declared, perhaps. But I think as your declaration of war, that's what the Nuremberg Treaty said that they came up with, that you shouldn't do that. That shouldn't be your way of starting a war. I mean, there's an argument for it maybe with nukes or something. You know, if you can avoid getting nuked by nuking someone first. It's the prisoner's dilemma, isn't it? It's a classical logical problem that was portrayed very well in The Dark Knight Rises with Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
And Batman with the boats. Do you remember?
That one with the boats.
Yeah, there was two boats. One had prisoners, one had
Oh,
civilians.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the prisoner's dilemma. It's like a really old thought experiment. I think the Greeks came up with it. So I can't remember what the point was with that though. Why I was saying about that thought experiment, the prisoner's game. It's a really difficult one to play correctly, but apparently the best strategy is... So, what is it? There's the two of us, we're both prisoners, right?
Yeah.
If you tattle on me, if either of us tattles on the other one, we get half the time that's been proposed initially. So we're going to get 10 years. We get only 5, if only one of us tattles. The one that tattles gets just 5.
Right.
If both tattle, we both get double. We both get 20 years. And if neither of us tattle, we get 10 years each.
Right.
That's the classic prisoner's dilemma. So can I trust you enough? It's not you. You're another prisoner. You're a scumbag like me.
Yeah.
Do I trust you?
Alright,
To
yeah.
not tattle. So that's the game represented in The Dark Knight, where the two people have got the bomb to blow each other up. And apparently the way to play it is to allow one transgression. Because it doesn't always have to be life and death. It can be a little thing. Just daily stuff. You allow one transgression and call that error. You allow a second transgression, and then that requires a little forgiveness, and you've got to go, alright, I'll give you a second chance, because one's error, twice, 3, no more. That's it, leave that situation. That's the best way to do it, apparently. And you can apply that to all life. But it could make you a bit ruthless. Perhaps.
Yeah, unless you saw Absolute Radio, and they had like a thing on there. What was it they would do? It was like they answer a load of questions to them, and when they get the prize money at the end, you can either agree to share or steal. And if you both say steal, no one gets the money.
That is it.
If one says share and one says steal, the one that says steal gets the money.
Yeah. Golden Balls with Jasper Carrot,
Right.
wasn't it? I think.
Well, no, that was one on the radio recently.
Oh, right.
Everyone I listened to, they both said steal.
Did they?
Yeah.
No, there was some terrible ones on the Jasper Carrot one. It was like a game show that was a similar concept. There's people like, I would never steal. No, hands down, I'm happy with 5k. 5k is fine for me. Yeah, I would never do it. And they're like, swear on your life. Oh, I swear on my life. And then they'd steal it, obviously. Sometimes they'd both split. And that was always the best result. But if they both steal, no. Not
Yeah.
for either. So it's a risk stealing. Because nobody gets nothing. Nobody gets nada.
I wonder how old Jasper Carrot is now. I remember watching Jasper Carrot as a lad, like fucking Can Carrot and all the rest of it.
Yeah, you are an old end millennial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird crossover period that you're in, I think. I do reckon. It's a strange little generation. Mix up, you're like either a young millennial or an old millennial or a young... whatever the one before millennial is. Is it Gen X?
No idea, mate.
No idea. I think it's Gen X. I don't know. What does it mean? It means poker. You don't like poker. You didn't like Pokemon when it came out.
Pokemon, hell
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, see, that's the crossover point, I think.
Was that fucking one of those Tamagotchi things that were around?
Tamagotchis.
Tamagotchis, fucking hell. Remember people having them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't for me though.
Do you know?
My mates had like one of my mates I used to take this out of it though.
Do you know if you've got one of them that's an early one
Yeah.
that's still alive,
You've looked after it all these years.
worth a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
Fuck ton of money if it's alive. Yeah.
Would you have actually had to have looked after it this
Yeah.
entire time?
It would have had to not have died once since, well, whatever year, and then you could say it's been alive for this many years.
Surely the bat really died in that time though.
Was there some kind of changeover thing, or was it just
I
like a
don't
watch
know, no
battery?
idea, I never had one, mate. I just remember people had them and then having to do things with them. I'm like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
to look after him. I had one for like maybe a half day. Then it died, and I was like, all right, that's that. You know, did have one for a moment. I had a yo-yo too. Did you have a yo-yo?
Yo-yo?
Yeah,
No.
they came back. So, yeah, I think,
Oh yeah, you
Do
have
you
people
remember?
come around with them at school and that one.
Yeah,
do like
yeah.
yo-yo freaking shows and that. Walking the
yo-yo
dog and
shows, walking the dog.
rocking the baby. And...
I could never do anything with that. I used to just like standing there and looking cool, with the standard yo-yo.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. But the newer ones, they had the auto spin, didn't they?
Yeah.
That bit of witchcraft going on down there. Don't know why that wasn't possible before. That made it much more enjoyable.
I don't think people do yo-yo.
I can't do
anymore,
that
mate.
with an old yo-yo.
I don't think kids go out that side anymore, to be honest with you.
To do if they're playing Pokemon Go.
Do they? I don't think. Do they still play that?
Yeah, there's massive, yeah.
Yeah. You play Pokemon Go?
No, no, it's not. I'm just excited the technology's out there for that kind of experience, because you could have anything in that. You could have dragons if you wanted instead, or Terminator robots that you can shoot, or some mad shit. Instead of just some Pokemons.
Kids outside again. What, to get kids outside again? It was like, I remember my ex's little one. So it was like, when I was a kid, like, he used to get grounded as a punishment. It's
Yeah.
like nowadays, it's like making them go outside as a punishment, isn't it?
It's pretty mad, that, isn't it? To be fair, I suppose there's a weird alternate world, isn't there?
She said, I don't want to play out. Go play outside in the sunshine.
Go and play
Come
football.
meet
I've got
friends.
FIFA. I'm better at FIFA.
I want to watch YouTube. I mean, it's getting bad. I mean, kids will actually sit there now and watch fucking people play, like other kids playing games
Playing
on
games,
YouTube.
yeah.
It's like, well, you've got the game there. Why don't you play it?
Yeah, it is pretty weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
So do the people like talk while they're playing the game
Yeah.
and stuff? Chat and
yeah.
yeah, weird. I can't do both at once. I can't be arsed with online games. I only like online games if I'm killing the other team. Killing my own team. If that's possible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun to do online. People get mad. They get so mad. But it's so fun. Terrible, really. but it's glorious. Just grenading, because normally you can't shoot.
So what old consoles do you remember then? When you were a kid?
Consoles?
Yeah, what was
Well-
that when you were a lad? Like SNES and stuff like that.
I had a, what was it? Master System?
Yeah.
Yeah, Master
The
System.
cartridge ones,
Yeah, I had that in Cambridge, and then I played it on PlayStation 1 a few times. And then I got to England, and a friend of the family, Ivor, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to Japan, I'll bring you back some hot shit computer console," because they just throw them away over there. You know, they just throw them in the bin. And I was so excited, and he came back, and he had was it an Amstrad? One of those tape ones. He had one of them.
That's the
And like
first
a
one
million
console
games.
I ever used to have.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Did you play Dizzy?
Yeah, the games that were out there were
Right.
shit, weren't they, looking back? But
Dizzy was good, man. But
it's good at the time, I loved them at the time, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I remember though on one of them, just the first level, you could go right, but only a square, and then you could go left a couple, and then there was a guy at a bridge saying you need 30 stars to get past, and there was like 2 stars around, and I just couldn't find any more stars anywhere. I never got past that point on that one,
yeah.
but I enjoyed the other Dizzies.
Desert Island, Dizzy, and things.
Yeah. Yeah, shit. The physics were really good on that game, though, I thought. From what I remember, like the jumping mechanism and stuff, it was a nice fluid platformer. You know, it's pretty good. Art was pretty cool.
Well, all that. It was like loading that up on a table that now putting it on. To be
What was
honest.
the other one?
What is this?
Was it Joust?
Joust.
Where you were like, it was really difficult to describe. Like a platform game, but it was just on one screen. Like if you went to the extreme right, you'd come back round the other side,
Right.
and there was 2 people fighting, and I think they were on little ostriches, and they had like
Right.
jousting sticks,
No, I don't remember that.
and you had to like bounce and joust.
Yeah.
No,
No.
that was on. I think that was on there, or was that on Master System or something? I don't know. So yeah, I've had old school consoles, but really the first good one was the PlayStation 1, I
Yeah.
think. Apart from some games, simple platformers and that. And then I had Final Fantasy 7 and Tomb Raider. And I was like, I don't want to play this pixie shit. When I looked at Final Fantasy 7, don't want to be a fucking elf. And then I played Tomb Raider. And then that got scratched, and I played Final Fantasy 7. And I was like, this is amazing. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened. And then
You was that elf.
and then I thought all the game was going to take place inside that first map, and I remember getting to Will and being, what the fuck is this? It's huge. It's amazing, that game. I mean, there's been a lot better one. Well, I don't know. It's probably still my top game, I'd say.
I think I've
Fantasy
played
VII.
any of the Final Fantasy.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, it was sick.
We're playing like Manhunt. I used to like that.
Manhunt was really good. Yeah. That was really good. They didn't do any sequels to that, did they?
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, it's Manhunt
Oh.
2 out.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No way.
Not a long time, yeah. They tried to ban that Manhunt the first time, didn't they?
Yeah.
Tried to play it again not that long ago. It seems weird trying to play it now, though.
Yeah,
Controls are
clunky.
all, yeah.
Yeah, the animation's not amazing.
But I played it through at the time. It was pretty good. You have
Get
to
yourself
kill the
on-
end guy with a chainsaw. Did you get all the way to the end, did you? He's got like a pig mask and you hack him up with a chainsaw.
yeah. There was a crazy game. That was Rockstar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just some other people with like plastic bags and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can sort of understand now why they try to ban it.
I mean, it is kind of mental, but
Shank
Probably.
people.
I wonder if any of that kind of thing gets that impulse out of some people.
Yeah.
Because a certain amount of the population are going to have that impulse.
If you're just fucking crazy, you're crazy, mate, aren't you?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
could
just
that
because
in
you've
some-
done it on a game doesn't mean. I mean, look at the amount of
yeah.
people that play games and we don't all go around stabbing each other up or
No.
unloading guns into
No.
each other.
Yeah, if it was true that it caused violent behaviour, lots of people would be dead.
Yeah.
Like, a lot more people would be dead in the world. Because
Yeah.
there's so many people playing. Same with music, you know, if Marilyn Manson made you shoot up a school, all the schools would be shot up.
There's just need to stop trying to fucking pin things on like fucking
Yeah, some one.
major and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Just accept that there are some genuinely crazy people out there
Yeah.
that will just do mental shit.
Yeah, it's going to happen. But could video games sometimes temper that, you know? Violent video games, if they can do it on there and not have to deal with the consequences of the real world. Maybe they just do it on there.
Yeah, you're still going to be to not have that concept of the really real world to do that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
You had that
but,
Boomtown Rat song, Mondays.
probably.
Tell me why.
Oh,
don't
yeah,
like-
yeah.
Yeah, that was based on some girl wanted to tune up at school,
Was it? Oh!
and they said to her,
Yeah.
why did you do it? When she shot up at school, she's like, I don't like Mondays, and that's it.
Yeah, she was the first school shooter in America.
Yeah.
And then people like blame her for everyone like it's copycat, like she started it, you know. Because it is weird, like there's different places in the world that have similar gun laws and similar levels of gun ownership, or different gun laws and they just don't have the problem of school shootings. Like it's just not common anywhere apart from North America. It's just for whatever reason, I don't really know what it is. It's a many-pronged reason, but one of the reasons might be because somebody did it. You know, somebody did it first, and people have gone, "Oh right, we can do that now." Yeah, one crazy person did it. Somebody else will copy it sooner or later.
I think the best one I heard of was someone decided to shoot up, like climb a tower with a sniper rifle, basically, in a town in Texas, but fucking Texas of all places. Before he got
So
the first couple of shots off, like everyone was like armed and like.
There was another sniper with a bead on him.
Yeah.
Oh.
The town managed to pin him down until like the police got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, Texas. Really wanted a challenge.